just happened? Oh, okay. Hello. Oh, I got a tweet out link. Hello, everyone. Hello, Alex. How are you doing, buddy? Good, better. Nice one. You know what you should do, Alex? You should channel all of that good energy and use it to be more active in voice chat. I'm doing okay, Alex. I'm doing fine. Waco Discourse was fun. Waco Discourse was pretty fun, honestly. I'm glad I got to call out Mel and Demon Mama for being measly pieces of shit. That was fun. Probably like the only good thing to come out of that discourse. Was in voice chat last 2 days. Dude, just ping me when you're in there. Usually if I'm not busy, I'll show up. Joe, okay. Joe Mom, bad faith. I was going to tell you a joke about time travel. You wouldn't like it. You're correct. Joe Biden. Nice one. Basically everything. Y'all want to dark lib shit? The corporate tax should be abolished. Capital gain tax should be treated as same as in basically everything's fucking destroyed. Yes, Demon Mom was. What's the topic today? I don't know yet. We'll see. So, that Vosh Mike debate was fun. Mike from PA is such a pathetic human being. Hold on. I just want to say, like, it's funny how alpha Mike tries to be in person. Like how, like, tough and yelly he is. Or in voice chat and, like, online. He tries to be, like, this tough, like, alpha guy. But like in person, hold on. Where's this? Yeah, LSP posted the video.
That's fine. I think that's fine. So if a guy pays for my tab,
I think I'm getting your attention. I feel like I touched like a vampire touching holy water.
can I help you?
I think they want to go in.
Okay. Should I close it?
Jesus Christ. What a sad shell of a human being. Oh fuck. Oh god, my computer's glitching again. Oh fuck. Beta like just watch the Waco panel. Holy Demon Mama and Mel are so insufferable in bad faith. You did a good job calling them out. Yeah, I think I did okay in that one. Vosh handled Mike better than he handles most right-wingers. Honestly, I thought they both came out like looking kind of bad in that debate. It looked like just a lot of childish shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I can engage in childishness. I mean, you guys saw that panel. Or at least a lot of you saw the Waco panel. But, I don't know, that whole argument between Mike and Vosh was, like, pretty silly, I thought. Yeah, I challenged Vosh to a fight. That was pretty funny. Um, it is funny. I remember they were arguing about who would win in a fight between Mike and Vosh. It seems like it seems pretty obvious that Vosh would win that fight, to be honest. And this isn't even me simping for Vosh. I'm just saying, like, realistically, I think Mike said he's an inch taller than Destiny. I think Destiny's like 5'8". So that makes Mike somewhere like 5'9"-ish. I think Vosh is like over 6 foot. Vosh definitely has like over 100 pounds on him for sure. Maybe. Actually, I don't know. But definitely has a lot of pounds on him. I would be, and plus, like, just look at Mike. Like, hold on, look at this dude.
Can I help you?
Like,
Look at this guy. I don't think this guy's gonna win a fight. Honestly, I mean, I'm not either, right? Like, I'm not a big dude, but I don't pretend to be a big dude, right? Like, I don't fucking challenge people to fights. Like, why the fuck would I? I don't even need to. I'm on the internet. I can talk shit and you can't do shit about it. That's the good part about being on the internet. Vosh 6'2", yeah. I think Mike came off looking significantly worse than Vosh, though. LMAO, Vosh at worst. Yeah, I agree, for sure. I mean, Mike is almost always going to come out of a conversation looking worse than whoever he talked to, because Mike is a very uncharismatic, unlikable character. There's just certain people who have like man, I don't know what the word is for like negative charisma, but it's like the opposite of charisma. Like a charismatic person, like you watch them and you're like somewhat like enamored by like their mannerisms, the kinds of things that they do. They're just like entertaining. Some people, you just like watch them and it just fills you with rage by just how unlikable they are. Mike from PA is definitely one of them. Demon Mama as well would be a good example of this. Destiny looks like he'd be 5'10" if he stood up straight. No, I think Destiny's like 5'8". That's my understanding. Mike Vosh is just budget Hassan Destiny. Yeah. Mike actually built up a pretty sizable community. I mean, yeah, he's been being hosted by like Hassan, Hutch, a bunch of like fairly large figures. He came out of the Majority Report. Like, yeah, I mean, he's been hoisted up. He has a past in like electoral politics, so he was in a really good position to build a big community, even if he is a very unlikable and not super intelligent character. 2K concurrent. No, he's not bad at all. His viewership, at least. Oh, speaking of the Majority Report, did you guys see that Jamie is leaving? And she's not just leaving. I think Jamie got fired. Oh my god, my fucking shit isn't working. Okay. Shit, like if we go to Jamie's Twitter, it's at least less annoying that Mike will no longer be pretending to be Vosh. Yeah. Did he do that? I don't know. I never saw Mike seeing like he was like trying particularly hard to like mimic Vosh's mannerisms. Where's Jamie? Jamie. Anyways, I don't remember what her at is, but yeah, she said that tomorrow's her last day in the Majority Report, and I posted this screenshot. Hold on. Wait, where am I? How do I go to my own profile? Oh, based tweet from Mouthy Sigma Male here. So tomorrow's my last day at Majority FM. Call in during the fun half to say nice things to me, wish me a happy birthday, and learn about what I'm doing next. And then she's been liking tweets such as, God fucking damn it. He just realized that he doesn't want a radical on his show because he is fundamentally an MSNBC shitlib, or at least he doesn't mind playing one on TV and YouTube for money. Sam Seder is not in it for the people. So it seems like Jamie is not leaving the Majority Report on good terms. Not at all. I think, yeah, I guess like Sam fired her because she like wasn't a good fit for the show. Which is fine. I mean, that's probably justified. I don't think she contributed much. Thought Jimmy was cool despite some cringe takes. I mean, Jamie, no, I completely agree with what's being said here. I think Jamie seems like somebody who would be cool to hang out with, but a lot of her political takes are so dog shit. She liked that Mike from P8 tweet bashing Vosh. Yeah, Jamie's kind of cringe in a lot of ways. Imagine Mouthy on the Majority Report. That would be based. I actually really like Sam Seder. There are a few places I get my news from. Okay, I get like alerts. I have like all the big like news companies apps on my phone, and I get like alerts on my phone whenever something happens. Sometimes I'll just scroll through websites for like CNN, MSNBC, ABC News, etc., etc. And then in terms of like commentary, I'll watch like the Democracy Now! Like headlines every day. I'll watch the Majority Report full show like every day. I watch the David Pakman show every day, but I don't pay for the full show or whatever. And then I have a subscription to Jacobin and Current Affairs, which is honestly both of those places are a hit or miss a lot of the time. Yeah, Sam Seder has really good takes. The thing I like about Sam Seder is he seems like he's very like in the know, I guess, in terms of like political processes and a lot of more like weedy shit that I think a lot of people like just have no idea about. Thoughts on Infrared? Infrared, that guy's a fucking lunatic. That guy's fucking crazy. It might be fun to talk to him just for like the memes, I guess. It wouldn't be a serious conversation, but he's a good little cow. Vosh is my favorite pundit, but I'd rather chill with Kanye than Vosh. I don't know. I mean, Vosh seems fine. I wouldn't say Vosh is my favorite pundit, but Vosh is generally a lot better than a lot of people on the internet, on internet politics. But that's, again, I mean, I like Vosh, but like saying that someone's like one of the best on the internet is not saying much. There's a lot of dipshits on the internet. Opinions on the rise of paleocons. I think it's pretty not good. I mean, I don't know what else you would expect me to say about that. Yeah, was this one? Peter loses it on Jamie. Oh, is this the? I think I must have watched this clip before. On the stream. Oh my god, my computer is being so fucking slow.
George Bush that you shouldn't impeach now?
Watch the new Destiny vid. What one? Yeah, Vosh isn't Malthy's favorite pundit. Stephen Bennell the second is. Yeah, actually, unironically, yeah, Destiny is my favorite. Destiny's so fucking based. I don't know how he does it.
Smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud.
Oh no, an ad's gonna play.
I'm Nina Turner, and I am running for the U.S. Congress. And I'm asking you to...
I don't care.
She also must know. Joe Wilson proving... I mean, I don't think you should. And I still... it's insane.
And this is why so many people are turned off by the impeachment narrative the way it's going right now. Because it is dominated by people like
what?
her.
What? That we should... Because she didn't impeach George Bush, that you shouldn't impeach now?
No, I'm saying...
Why is it that you need to shoehorn that in there? It was wrong then. It's wrong now. You hold them to account. Every time you do not hold a president... The reason why he was able to get away with that was the same reason why Ronald Reagan, because we didn't impeach Ronald Reagan. You hold them to account. If it's not enough, that's the problem. If there's other people who want to go out there and march to impeach him for other things, they should do it. But hundreds of thousands of people died for that. I'm not going to hear this fucking bullshit anymore.
Can I finish what I was saying?
Yeah, finish it.
Because I agree with you. I'm saying you look...
He's so fucking mad. Holy shit. Which new Destiny vid should I watch? Mouthy streaming Hollow Knight 1. I don't know if my computer can take that, but I would. Maybe eventually I will. Maybe when I get some more high-powered shit. I want Vosh to talk to that former white supremacist called the Pac-Man. I didn't see it. Melthion let me on to debate you about whether or not Destiny is based. That sounds like that sounds like the most boring debate I could think of. I enjoy Destiny's content. I disagree with some of his takes. I agree with some of his takes. I'm not super interested in arguing about that. Alpha male cedar, true. Get her out of there. What's your take on the Mike from PA drama with Vosh? What do you think of Mike's opinion on sewer socialism? I mean, I generally like Vosh. I very much dislike Mike from PA, so... Alright, Steven, what do you... His most recent... Oh, I started this. Oh my god, this conversation was so funny. Okay, this is the part where Pac-Man calls in.
Stephen, my Argentinian friend, what's up? How you doing?
Tell me if the audio
hey,
levels are bad.
Stephen, Kenneth Destiny Bennell, arguably the most well-known Cuban-American streamer
on Twitch, I think it's fair to say, right?
I think that's just undeniable at this point, of course.
Yeah.
I can't think of
I love David Pakman. I can't tell like to what extent he's like really funny and has a really dry sense of humor, or to what extent it's like unintentional. Like it's very hard to tell sometimes.
Listen,
more prevalent Cuban American political streamers on this platform that also play Minecraft and Factorio, yeah.
I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, that something ugly is happening with the entire Omaha activism that you're involved in.
Yeah, a lot of people are writing a lot of them hit pieces, David. That's how it goes.
Explain what's happening. Is it that you made some vile comments at some point in the past and now they're coming back to bite the guy you're supporting in Omaha for mayor? Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, and the comments were what, inciting violence?
It was over the Kenosha stuff to make it sound, basically people are trying to make it sound like I don't like BLM or Black Lives.
Here's a hot take. I hope this doesn't like preemptively burn the bridge with Destiny before it's even been built. But I think that Destiny, I feel like he almost like pivoted on his position on the burn down or the mow down protesters thing, because when I originally heard that video, it seemed very much like his position was that we should like he endorses people like mowing down like rioters because the riots are having a negative like optics impact on Joe Biden's presidential campaign, and therefore like the rioters could like the rioters getting like mowed down or something would prevent them from happening. That would be good from an optics perspective for Joe Biden and like increase his chances of winning. I think that's a pretty indefensible claim, at least like from a rural utilitarian perspective. I think saying that it's okay as a rural utilitarian, saying that it's like okay to like start mowing down rioters on the basis that you think it would have a good effect optically on a certain candidate, I think that's like a weird precedent to set. But he's kind of like started to say that his real position is that like he just thinks it's justified to defend property from people who are trying to like destroy property, and I think that's completely justifiable. I'm not sure if he just worded his original statement wrong, or if he was like kind of pivoting a bit because maybe he got like a bit heated and said some shit he didn't totally mean, or yeah, I'm not really sure what's the case with that. Did Destiny message you back? You said you messaged him. Yes, he did message me back. I just have to message him at some point when he's streaming to say like that I want to talk to him. I'm not sure what I'm going to talk to him on yet. I'm thinking of talking to him about child benefit policy, because I know he supports like expanding the earned income tax credit, and I support essentially getting rid of the earned income tax credit in favor of like, you know, a different system based on universal checks. And I know he's very much in favor of like means testing, which I disagree with. Very much of the mind that single payer healthcare doesn't have any substantive advantage over like some multi-payer healthcare or a public option, which I totally disagree with. But I'm not sure what I want to talk to him about yet. Market socialism pill him. He doesn't even think that. I mean, to the extent that you could pill Destiny on market socialism, he's already pilled, right? Like he said on stream, he doesn't think market socialism is bad, but he just doesn't think it's actually socialism. He just thinks it's like capitalism with co-ops. But my version of market socialism isn't even about co-ops, so I don't know.
Doesn't matter or like protests or anything. Yeah.
And do you like protests?
Yeah, of course. One of the few positions that I radically have supported over the past like 5 years, or 10 years even.
So do you feel, I mean, I think the good thing is that, remind me the name of the candidate you're supporting there?
Well, it was Mark Gudgel in Omaha.
Are you no longer involved? Because it looked like that he was saying that just because you said something, you know, a while ago, that doesn't mean that the movement is bad.
Yeah, that was initially what he tried to play, but there's like a ton of pressure there's a lot of other campaigns that are trying to pressure him to like drop the race basically. So we are separate.
He thinks that companies would be harder to start under market socialism because of the lack of outside support from investors. That's only really a critique of like co-op market socialism. That's not necessarily what I'm advocating for. Also, I'm pretty sure that could be like overcome in some sort of market socialist system. I've not really thought about it, but like that seems like something you could overcome.
Wait a second.
Nice.
It's not that they want him to denounce you. They want him to just quit because you're supporting him?
Well, people are saying that he should get in line behind the other candidates in the race. So
What does that even mean? I don't even understand that. What does that mean?
to drop your canvassing and get behind other candidates. What do you mean?
I thought you meant like get in line behind, like wait for someone else.
Oh,
to
no,
be
sorry.
made.
I might have misspoke. Yeah.
Wow, that I'm so sorry to hear that. It's gotten very ugly. Now, do you think that maybe you could have couched your comments in a different way and this never would have happened? Or do you think that it's literally just a hit job?
Are you asking me if I could go back in time and change words that I've said so that people don't? I don't know.
I feel like Destiny is way too aggressive with Pac-Man. Like Pac-Man is always so nice when they're talking. Mouthy Infidel, he disagreed with the Brunig Index Funds article. I don't think he actually disagreed with it. Like, wasn't he just saying that the Brunig article wasn't an actual, like, critique of the economic calculation problem? Because, like, you know, like, obviously you still have markets. It's not actually planning, et cetera, et cetera. But I think he just misunderstood. Like, Brunig wasn't saying that the existence of index funds is a debunk of the economic calculation problem. He was just saying that it's like a way to sidestep the economic calculation problem because you can achieve some form of collective ownership, internalization of externalities, et cetera, without implementing planning. You can have, in a sense, it's almost like simulated markets. Seemed to be the point that Brunig was making. I'm still in awe at how calm you were. I don't think I was very calm in that debate. I was like yelling for a lot of it, but thank you, I suppose. Dave Pac-Man is so low-key with the way that he memes. Yeah, it's really funny. What does it mean to internalize externalities? So the concept of internalization of externalities is basically the concept that when an economic actor like a company is making a decision, they're doing it based on profit. Profit is just a calculation for revenue minus cost. But the problem is that the costs which an economic actor's decisions incur on society and the benefits that an economic actor's decisions might give to society aren't always translated into a cost for that business or into revenue for that business. So, like, for example, trains tend to be like very unprofitable because it takes so much money to start up trains, and the benefits that accrue broadly to society as a result of having like a good train system don't accrue to the train companies themselves. So there generally has to be some sort of like subsidies or nationalization or something like that. So internalizing externalities is just saying that markets aren't good at getting economic actors to act in accordance with costs and benefits that don't accrue directly to them in terms of revenue or cost to their business. Thoughts on the cockshot model for planning? It seems compelling. I'm sure a lot of big brain people have their critiques of it. That's fine. Ultimately, before I'm going to confidently say that I think we should adopt X model of planning, I would have to see some form of empirical testing. That's always going to be my answer to everything. I'm never going to commit to saying that we should like absolutely adopt this model or that model of like economic planning or something like that before I see like some sort of data like or empirical evidence suggesting that that would work. Because there's just so many factors that we can't possibly just intuit without like seeing some data. Yo, what's going on? I just got here. I'm just hanging out, just I was watching this Pac-Man Destiny conversation. It's really funny. Demon Mom is long gone up. Do you think, why does Demon Mama think you're brainwashed by DGG? Does she actually think that? That's really funny. I mean, I had a very low opinion of Demon Mama long before, I mean, I don't even interact with the DGG community. Like, I've never. Sometimes I'll like go in Destiny's chat, like if he's streaming, but I never like am active in the Discord. I never post on the Reddit. I never just talk to people like offline or anything. I have some friends who are in Destiny's community, of course. I have some friends that are in Vosh's community, but that's about as far as the association goes. I'm not like a member of Destiny's community. I just like his content generally. But I had a very low opinion of Demon Mama way before like Destiny covered it. Or Destiny had a feud with her. In fact, I have a very low opinion on Demon Mama just based on my interactions with her, like even in private. Like when I was talking to Vosh about unequal exchange, and I was saying that I don't think social democracy necessarily has to rely on third world exploitation to fund a welfare state. She was in Vosh's chat saying shit like Mouthy doesn't have sympathy for the working poor because he doesn't have to work with a suicide net outside. And just like saying like really stupid, like disingenuous shit like that. And then I DM'd her afterwards. I was like, hey, like you obviously took issue with my take. Do you want to debate it? And she's like, no, I'm not really interested in debating it. And I was like, well, that's funny because you were like saying a lot of very strong claims about me in Vosh's chat. And she was like, well, you can't handle some playful ribbing. And at that point, I was like, all right, you're like a worthless, fucking disingenuous piece of shit. There's literally nothing to be gained. Nothing of value comes from your existence. Hello, sir. Hello. A big problem with co-op models is that currently CEOs account for a lot of variance, firm performance, controlling for a lot of industry factors, etc. My main problems with the co-op model are while co-ops would lead to revenue being more evenly distributed within firms because different firms vary in how capital intensive they are, there's always going to be a lot of inequality spawned by the difference in profitability between firms. So just having the revenue distributed by democratically among that firm isn't really sufficient. It has to be distributed democratically among society as a whole, which is kind of like the point of a social wealth fund. And additionally, co-ops don't really solve the issue of like internalizing externalities very well. Like I don't see why like a co-op company wouldn't have nearly as much of an incentive to like pollute the environment as like a regular coal company, I guess. Trains should all be nationalized. Maybe. They don't even enforce masks. Would it surprise you? That's what she said if you check her VGG logs. Yeah, I'm sure she did say that. I mean, honestly, the reason why she would think I'm like brainwashed by DGG is because she's coping because I BTFO'd her in that debate, and it has to be some part of a conspiracy or something. Mike was rubbing it out on Twitter that Vosh got banned from VGG. Wait, what? Vosh got banned from VGG? That's his own fucking website. What? A common lefty trope is to call you out with being associated with Destiny, to disregard all your arguments. It's super annoying. Yeah, Destiny really is like a boogeyman for a lot of people online. It's really funny. I'm convinced Demon Mom is a pathological narcissist. I mean, yeah, of course. Oh yeah, he got crushed in that convo. Lamau, you need to stop being a debate bro. Just be a Marxian enthusiast. Want to debate me on that claim? There's like 3 people that call you bad faith in Vosh's stream every stream. LMFAO. Yeah, I know. I mean, I left Vosh's Discord like I think not too long ago. It's weird because Vosh's community used to really like me. And like every time I would go in chat, they'd be like, "Oh my god, it's Mouthy Infidel." Vosh's chat or Vosh's community fucking hates me now, for some weird reason. Maybe it's because I was shitting on Demon Mama. Maybe it's because of the debate we had about unequal exchange. I'm not exactly sure, but Vosh's community really seems to fucking hate me now, which is fine. I mean, I hate Vosh's community right back, or not as a whole. There's a lot of really cool people in Vosh's community, but a lot of individuals that shit on me in Vosh's community, I think, are like brain dead pieces of shit. Yeah. So thoughts on trade unions as path to social democracy? I think unions are great. Sectoral unions, especially. That's like one of the main pillars of the socialism that I advocate for is like sectoral unions. I miss when you wanted to get rid of money. Okay. I mean, if it works, it works. Like, if we're like pushing society further and further left, it seems like we can have some viable communist society, like the empirical evidence points to that, then that would be awesome. Like, let's do it. But what I advocate for is, I think Medluck calls it provisional utopia, where we push society as far left as possible within the bounds of what's currently supported by the available empirical evidence. Once we reach that point, we continue to try to experiment with pushing it further and further left and see like how far we can go. That seems like the right approach to me. If that leads us to communism, then awesome. Sounds like a pretty awesome society to live in. No money, everything's free. Sounds fucking great. But I'm not going to commit to something like right now and say we need to do this immediately when we don't have anywhere near sufficient empirical evidence to like back up the idea that this is like currently viable. I think a lot of it just has to do with like technology progressing to the point where like we can efficiently plan shit well enough. Would your form of market socialism not require cooperatives then? No, my form of market socialism is basically a mixture of nationalization of certain industries, a social wealth fund through which the government can direct industries that aren't nationalized, worker power through sectoral unions, and then worker power through like co-determination policies, like giving workers representation on like boards of directors, stock ownership programs, etc. And in addition to that, of course, like heavy taxation and a lot of like welfare and social spending is also a very important part. Mouthy Info, you see that weird Matt Brunig COVID and China boomer tweet? Yeah, that was like weird. The problem is Matt Brunig has a lot of dog shit takes. His economic takes are great, like the social wealth fund proposal, his child benefit proposal, like all of his takes on like welfare policy and economic policy and shit are fucking like bangers. And I would say that honestly, Matt Brunig has informed my economic beliefs and like what I advocate for is the basic structure of society more than like literally anybody else. But a lot of his other takes are dog shit. Like, he was giving the take that, man, what was this? He was giving the take in one of his articles that, like, Kamala Harris should overrule the parliamentarian to, like get the $15 minimum wage in the COVID stimulus, which is, like, fucking so crazy to me. Like, first of all, it's not going to accomplish anything. $15 minimum wage still isn't going to be passed. All you're going to do is like delay COVID relief, which is not only going to hurt millions of people who are struggling and need relief really badly, but it's also going to fuck the Democrats from an optics and electoral perspective. If the Democrats win, if you really want a $15 minimum wage, what we need is more seats in the Senate. And delaying the COVID relief further by like this like petty shit about like, oh, we want a minimum wage in there, so we're not going to let it pass. These kinds of electoral stunts are going to massively hurt our chances of winning more Senate seats in 2022. That'd be my take. Are you saying you're an anarchist? I'm a statist. You can't continue. He did ban himself. That was hilarious, but I meant DGG. Oh, okay, yeah. Wait, did Vosh actually get banned from DGG? When did this happen? Is this like recent? Destiny derangement syndrome, true. I've done a lot of research, didn't really yeah, that was funny. That was the best part of the Waco panel, was when Demon Mama said, I've done extensive research on this. And then when asked for evidence, her one piece of evidence that who started the fire was a matter of controversy was a DOJ report. And then Know Nothing read the DOJ report on stream, and it said the exact opposite of what she thought it said. Oh, that was fucking hilarious. Imagine not being a debate, bro. True. I can't. I'll debate you on your debate. TBH, your debate with Demon Mama showed her dishonesty more than the convo with Manifesto Man. Yeah, I think so. I think, like, if you saw that community, or if you saw that debate that I had the Waco panel, and you came out thinking that, like you came out, like, not believing that Demon Mama was, like, bad faith, or, like, Weasley, then, like, honestly, your ability to judge character is so worthless that, like, I don't know what to say. Vosh's community got dumber as it got bigger. I think that's just an inevitability with any community. As any community grows, it's going to become more infiltrated with, like, just general, like, stupid people. I think Destiny has done a really good job at counteracting that, and how hard he, like, gatekeeps his community, and I think that's really cool. I'm gonna try and do the same thing. That's why, like, if you're saying some dumb or, like, aberrant shit, you're just getting banned from my Discord, from my chat, etc. Vosh's community thinks you're a secret lib, which is funny because I'm no more of a lib than Vosh is. Like, I'm a reformist, Vosh is a reformist. I think that we should start with some version of market socialism and then see how far left we can go. Vosh thinks the same exact thing. Like, I mean, I'm not qualitatively any more of a liberal than Vosh is, so it's funny that his community would think that. Like Vosh's community is, like, large parts of it. I mean, a lot of Vosh's community is really cool, but a lot of Vosh's community is so stupid they don't actually know how to comprehend, like, the words that their daddy is saying. It's really funny. Vosh calls chat brain dead all the time. True. Based. From Vosh's community, I don't hate you. Well, you're one of the good ones. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people from Vosh's community saying that it's been getting dumber and dumber. That's probably true. I mean, that's going to happen to any community as it grows unless you hardcore gatekeep it. Yeah, I mean, this has been my experience too. Like, just based on the fact that Vosh's community used to like me and, like, now doesn't. Okay? Because obviously, if you don't like me, you're stupid. And if you do like me, you're smart. And that's just, like, it's my general rule of thumb. Your argument assumes what is correct. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. To say our current system works, I'm not saying our current system works. There's a lot of areas of our system that's fucking stupid and does fail the middle class. And we have empirically tested solutions to those aspects of the system, which is why we should work towards implementing those and see how much further left we can go, and work based on the empirical evidence that we accrue on that journey. Holy shit, there's a lot of it. Have you gotten into more postmodern psychoanalytic side of Marxism? No, I would like to. I would actually, I'm interested in, like, researching that. Why not also make enterprise? Well, because you can't have a cooperative enterprise and a social wealth fund be involved, because once a social wealth fund is owning shares in a worker cooperative, then it's no longer a worker cooperative. When I also, oh wait, I already just wrote that. Also, I feel like this lack of urgency for revolution in favor of slowly pushing is pretty privileged and can only come about for people not under full economic or political domination. True. If you have time, you should bring me into Discord, dog. I have some questions. Sure. Are you in there? If you're in chat, just like join, I guess. Safe to say you're alive now? No. You know, it'd be funny, you debunking your own video on Marxist socialism. I'm actually planning on doing that soon. How do you reconcile the fact that so many leftists are becoming lost in garbage theory and not actually engaging in the real world? I don't know, it's a good question. Nothing seems so different on voice chat than Twitter LMFAO. I don't know, he was like shitposting pretty well on the Twitch panel. Some parts when he decided to interject. Is your Discord based? Yeah, of course. Of course, it's my fucking Discord. Is Vosh reformist? Yes. How can you get a link? And she completely changed her position on fire being a controversial suspect afterwards and lied when you called her out on it. Yeah, she brought up the fact that the canisters were like flammable or that the FBI had lied about the canisters as evidence that it's like controversial who started the fire. And then I was like, I was like, that's not relevant, like, because the canisters weren't even fired directly into the building, and they were fired like 4 hours before the fire started, and the fire started in like 3 different places simultaneously. So like, it doesn't even matter. Like even if the canisters were flammable or whatever, or even if they were the pyrotechnic canisters, which they were, like it still didn't start the fire. And then she was like, well, no, I was just saying that like it's interesting because like the government shouldn't have lied about it because that can feel conspiracy theories. It's like, wow, that's a good point. It's also like not your original point at all. Like I like the pivoting though. It's pretty cool. Bosch believes in is literally anything. I just might you school me. Is this like a kink thing or what's going on here? Oh shit, that's the wrong Discord. Kick everyone from this Discord, okay? I'm sorry, my children. Okay. I can't sorry, I can't let people join this Discord unilaterally. I have to consult other people, okay? It's a private Discord. Oh, here's my actual one. The public one that I run. Oh shit, that's that's the Discord chat. I found it to be grounded in reality, true. Soft revolution now. What are your thoughts on Huey Long economic policy? I don't know what that is. I'm Smart Progress. Howdy, Mouthy. Hey, bud. Well, Destiny's gatekeeping can't necessarily be compared because Destiny built his audience over 10 years. Vosh basically 2 years. Yeah, that's true. Do you still talk with Against Domestication at all? I watched one of your combos with him, but I haven't really. Is that Is that the TA person? I almost said guy, but I don't know. I don't know their pronouns or whatever, how they identify. If that's who you're talking about, that person is like, I don't know. I don't care to engage with that person. It's basically just like one of these people who like come on voice chat and be like ultra fucking cordial, and then as soon as they get off, they're like going to their fucking social medias to like shit talk me about how I'm pro imperialism and all this other stupid shit. I just don't have time with like weaselly fucks like that. Like if you have some shit to say to me, fucking say it when we're on voice chat, okay? If you're gonna like fucking weasel out of everything on voice chat and then like go to your own social media to like talk shit, like whatever, fuck off. I heard he was on a Waco panel. Can I watch it? Where can I watch it, or should I? Okay, so you should watch it up to about. So I have a VOD. It's on my YouTube channel, and it's in playlists under stream VODs, and it's watch up to like the first hour and 25 minutes. After that, it gets kind of boring. So like cut it off at like an hour and 25 minutes. Well.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hold on. I have to
Can
turn
you
you.
hear me?
I can hear you. I just have to turn you up.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay.
I have my mic set up, and it's one I've never used on Discord.
Mm.
So
Amazing.
my audio.
Oh shit, VC's alive.
How's it going?
Hi. I'm good. I'll mute so you guys can talk.
It's okay, bud. I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good.
Amazing.
I have an important question for you, actually.
Go for it.
So, damn, I guess like you believe in like universal education, right? Higher education.
Yeah.
So, who's gonna pay for that? You know? Like somebody's paying for it.
It's a good question. Well, I will tell you this, okay? I'm not gonna get too into the weeds, okay? That wouldn't be productive for anybody. But I will say somebody's paying for it. That's for sure.
Somebody's paying for it.
Somebody's paying for it.
Somebody's gotta ask all these like high level questions, you know. And
Well, the left doesn't want to talk about these questions. That's the problem. You know?
that is the problem, honestly.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Damn, bro. I'm so honored to be here. I've never been
Wow.
on stream before, you know?
Wow. Well, there's as Jesse Lee Peterson says, there's a first time for everything.
There is, and this is my first time.
Wow. Incredible.
Wow.
Amazing.
Damn. I can't believe I navigated here.
Yeah, you
didn't
found the
think I was
Discord all on your own. How does it feel?
I know. No, nobody even had to show me the way.
True.
Listen though. I feel like we have to watch this video, okay?
What video?
I'll put it in the Discord, okay?
Alright. Go for it.
Oh shit, that's so much better. These headphones suck. I like straight up couldn't hear you for a good minute.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's working now.
Mouthy, debate me on why you're just wrong.
Fuck. I don't know if I have a good counter argument to that, honestly.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Damn.
Whoa.
I've never been so owned.
Damn, bro. Okay, so I want to know who's paying for universal basic income, right?
Okay.
Or not
Universal healthcare?
yeah,
Or
yeah. No,
college?
education.
Yeah.
Tell me, bro.
I don't know, man.
Somebody's paying for it.
Fuck. That's a good question. Somebody. We'll find someone, don't worry.
Okay. I think I know a guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
Here, hold
good.
up.
You need to
I'm trying
find him.
find this video.
Okay.
Have you done much traveling? I know this is kind of out of nowhere. It's one of my questions though. It's all gonna come together.
Okay. No, I haven't done much traveling, honestly.
Really?
No.
Have you ever left the country?
No.
Really? Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing.
Well, I
Genocide
think
bad.
Okay, I found the answers to all my questions, okay?
Okay.
So, I'm gonna, this is where it all begins, okay?
Okay.
You're gonna be traveling real soon, okay? I know the right agency.
Okay. Oh no, I wonder where you're
Do you
at.
know where this is going?
I wonder where you're going with this one.
There you go.
Wait, where is it?
I put it in the debate chat. Maybe not the most appropriate place.
No, this is a gay website. We can't go here.
Are you gonna get banned if we go on this gay website, bro?
Yeah, dude. We might get banned from the library. Too many high-level ideas, okay?
Can we watch this video?
That's a good question.
Is this? It can't.
Why
be
is the left
copyrighted.
silent on gay Costa Rica?
That's a good question. The left is like the silence on gay Costa Rica is deafening.
I don't see any leftist figures, bro, talking about Costa Rica
Exactly.
and how gay it is.
That's a good
Answering
point.
any of my questions.
Didn't this guy have like I feel like his video on like how to get like straight men in bed was like very rapey.
Oh, like undeniably. Here, wait. I can get that one if you want to watch that.
I'm out of the
Probably a
loop.
classic.
He was like man, what were some of his tactics? He was like, don't tell them that you're gay. Just like kind of trick them into it.
Get them
Like,
drunk
what the
and
fuck?
shit.
Yeah.
Don't say the word gay.
Yeah, never say the word gay.
There we
Yeah.
go. Without social app.
I love the thumbnail.
And like, if this is the same one, I think this is it. But he like goes out of his way to specify, like they can be gay or straight. It
With
doesn't matter.
social apps. Or no, without social
Without
apps.
social
Fuck. Somebody says this is a really eye-opening conversation. I'm glad that you agree.
I'm glad they're connecting all the dots, you know?
Yeah,
Talking a lot of shit in chat for people who won't come in VC.
exactly.
For real.
I need to like separate the Discord so that I stop linking the wrong one.
Wait, Mouthy, can I ask you about LTV really quick?
Go for it.
Okay. So I've looked at the discourse. I read Cockshot, Cottrell. I read the Kleiman response. I read the response to the Kleiman response. I read Diaz Osuna or whatever. And then I read Baeza, I think is the most recent one. And it seems like Team Cockshot is in the lead. But I also am too stupid at math to really understand who is bullshitting and who's actually like correct. So is the spurious correlation thing like legitimate, or
I
Is
don't
it
know.
not?
That's a good question. I'll have to look into it. The thing is, like, I've been aware of the discourse between Kleeman and Cockshaw and Gurchell. I just need to look into it before I form an opinion, like read their papers back and forth, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot of algebra that is big, and I just like at some point, it seems like you can't really tell if they're just like smoke screening with numbers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm like, listen, I don't think, I think I passed like my math classes in high school by like 1 point, so I'm not in,
Yeah.
not in any position to like give the enlightened take here, but
Yeah, me neither for sure. Oh, and then the reason I joined originally is because I heard you say Destiny was based, which I agree with, but I want to challenge you on, or actually not challenge you. Do you agree that he has massive blind spots on, first of all, the minimum wage? He just keeps
Yes.
saying that it's bad economic policy.
Yeah, I
He's
disagree
never
with him on
given
that,
any
yeah.
reason. Yeah. There was another thing, but I can't. I mean, yeah, he said a lot of things. Obviously, I disagree with, but I do think that for all of his bad takes, he's probably thought a lot more about his positions than Vosh has. You can sort of tell.
yeah,
I don't know if you
mean,
agree
I
with
like,
that.
I don't know, I like Destiny and Vosh. I generally like, I don't know. I tend to watch Destiny more so than Vosh, but I think they're both fine and for what they do.
Yeah.
I think Vosh tends to be a bit more performative, but like that's his thing, you know. Like that's not a dig at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like, and how do you, I guess another question is just how do you combat the fact that like, because you were talking about how communities as they grow become stupider, which I guess I agree with as someone who's been sub to Vosh since he was like 10K or whatever. But like, do you just have to live with the fact that like for any political movement to have real power, it has to include a lot of stupid people? Because like, there's no way to get around with that.
Yeah, I think you just have to live with that. I think like the best thing to do is like there's always like any mass political movement is going to include a lot of people who don't want to like actually put in the work of justifying their positions. I try to be careful with the word like stupid because I don't want to give off the impression that people are just like genetically predisposed to be dumb.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
nothing
of
that can
course.
be do about it. Yeah. But like yeah, there's just going to be a lot of people who don't actually feel like they need to put in the work to justifying their positions, and I guess it's just a matter of like feeding those people the right beliefs to an extent where the way that they act in a sort of mass movement context is productive, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good answer. Like specifically, like this is, I mean, the example that I guess gets thrown out a lot is like the average civilian is never going to understand trade policy. And since socialism is such like an economically grounded ideology, like how can we even begin to like give people an understanding that is sufficient but not like high level enough that it's PhD level, such that like every socialist can defend their economic takes on a basic level without like making outrageous claims about actors under capitalism or whatever? Like how do you do that?
Well, I think you can just point to like, so like the broad strokes of like what I advocate for. I think one of the things I've been trying to do recently is like talk about the Nordic countries like a lot, because I like a lot of what I advocate for in terms of like the model of market socialism that I think is like necessary and sort of like a more intermediary, like more urgent step is based around like sectoral unions, co-determination, social wealth fund, like heavy taxes, heavy like welfare, like these sorts of things are like kind of the broad strokes of the market socialism that I advocate for. And all of these things have been tried and work successfully in the Nordic countries. So like Norway has a massive social wealth fund, works very well, has very good profit like ratios or whatever, expense ratios. All the countries have a lot of welfare, a lot of taxation, which works very well. They have very low rates of poverty, low unemployment, etc. So I think that like pointing to like the Nordic countries when like arguing with right wingers is a really good, seems like a really good rhetorical trick, because it's just like, it's very simple. Like you don't have to get into the weeds of like sort of weedy economic arguments, but you can just be like, hey, look, almost everything I'm advocating for is tried here and it seems to work. And then of course you can get into like arguments about whether or not like is it just because of their is it because of their homogeneity or whatever, and you kind of have to
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of get into
Mouthy.
those
Don't you
arguments,
know that it's just because Norway has oil and because the countries are small, which totally doesn't actually make it easier to fund
yeah, exactly,
social
yeah.
programs.
True. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
I liked when I really liked that what's his name, Yaron Brook video where he was making the argument. My favorite argument that he made was that people in Norway are bored with their lives because they don't have to work to survive because they're supported by the government. Like he was like, because he was talking about how people they work less because they have like paid family leave and paid sick leave, and he was like, life has no excitement for it. It's boring. Like what the fuck
when I
is
was
wrong with
building
you?
my perfect society, I forgot to forgot to account for the boredom axiom. I'm sorry.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a good ass meme.
Like,
I don't have
people
anything
are-
else for now, so I'm gonna mute. But
Okay, have fun. Wow, another debate won easily.
bro, you got clapped. What are you saying?
Okay, have fun with your fantasies, bud.
Can we
Trap.
just talk about how this conversation was hijacked?
Exactly.
Topic was completely changed. This
What
is,
a pivot.
Just evidence that the left does not want to talk about gay Costa Rica.
Yeah. Exactly.
The left doesn't travel, dog.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the issue.
What's the deal with his site anyways? Wasn't it a scam?
Yeah, so my understanding is that he probably just scams people. That's what I was able to find on it. Like as far as like actual reviews.
Nice. Oh, I just have to address it real quick. But natural resources do help a lot with funding social programs in Norway. That's actually not really true. Pretty much all of Norway's oil money goes into a social wealth fund that's then invested abroad. So pretty much none, and then only like 4% of the returns on Norway's social wealth fund can like go to like government spending. So pretty much almost all of the oil money is just invested abroad. It's not used to fund social spending or like fund like local projects. In terms of their welfare state, Norway has like hardly touched their oil money at all. Yeah, I guess it's just like one thing that I would point out there. But anyways, back to Costa Rica.
Are we gonna be able to watch this video?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I don't
Which
even
one?
know how we would. Definitely the one about picking up guys.
The problem with being a streamer is that when you're watching it to find out if it's okay, you're banned before you actually know.
True.
Kind of a downside.
True.
Sad.
Can I watch the I'm wondering if you can listen to the Chug Jug song without getting banned. I don't think you can.
No, you for sure can. Like, Destiny is constantly playing it, right?
That's true. That's
It has
true.
to be okay.
Yeah.
It's like literally like 15 times a stream. It's actually unbearable at this point.
Yeah. It's a good song though.
Well, that's undeniable. I'm pretty sure that song was like found on a rune at the beginning of time.
10 kills on the board right now.
Just wiped out Tomato Town.
Oh, did you guys see when Destiny was doing that panel and he was like, people in chat were like, find a way to say 10 kills on the board right now in your next sentence, and he like kept somehow incorporating those song lyrics into his arguments on the panel. That was so funny.
No,
good.
wait. Is this the Prime Kai's one?
Yeah, maybe. He was on it with Riley and Dylan.
Yeah, that sounds right, but I'm not. Dude, oh god. Some of the panels with like 15, 20 people are actually so unbearably bad that I convince myself I'm going to watch them, and then it's like 20 minutes and I'm cringing too hard, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I only watch you, Aiden, and Destiny, and Bosch.
You should stop watching Aiden immediately. That guy's a grifter.
True! Not even a real cat boy. Only
Nope.
on Fridays.
Yep. Super bigoted, in my opinion.
Yeah, basically doesn't even have the experience of a real cat boy and is pretending to be one.
True.
Stolen valor.
Exactly. Okay, nobody's clipped it.
Damn, no one has clipped. Stephen Bonnell II sings Chug Jug with You, debate version.
It'll probably be in one of like the Destiny things or something, but I don't know.
Oh yeah. What do you think about the Syria airstrike?
I don't know. It's a good question. Generally, I'm in favor of American military presence in Syria insofar as we're supporting the Kurds, who I think are pretty based, but I don't really know the specifics of the airstrikes. The problem is, like, I try, as somebody with, like, a public platform, I try not to give takes on issues that I don't think I'm, like, sufficiently informed about. So, like...
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
So, like, when all the, like, I remember, like, bragging pretty hard because, like, when Destiny was making that, the GameStop manifesto, I could just, like, look back in my tweets, and all I said about it was, look, I don't know shit about stocks, so don't ask me about it. So,
you
like,
should
yeah,
be
like,
proud of that.
in terms of foreign policy, I know fuck all about foreign policy, so I'm not going to, like, I try not to, like, give my takes too much on it.
Yeah. I guess I was sort of I was implicitly baiting you into what every lefty on Twitter is the response they're giving, which is just like, yeah, it's American foreign military intervention, so it's bad. Also, like, this headline that I keep seeing where it's like, U.S. airstrike hits Syrian village, killing 22, which is the most incredibly misleading headline because all 22 were like enemy operatives. It's like not a single civilian, but the word village is like used to imply that it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that, I don't know, American military intervention is systemically great, but I mean, this incident wasn't like we just fucking nuked some dude's house or a hospital.
True. Sorry, I don't have an opinion on that foreign policy topic yet. Dylan Burns hasn't done a segment on it. True.
Oh my god. Okay, that's facts.
Who's the there's I can't tell if someone in here is Red Charlotte, but Red Charlotte seems to have like pretty decent foreign policy takes. But I don't know.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I don't know shit about foreign policy too. When there's a foreign policy thing, I just read on Wikipedia for like 2 hours and then I know.
Exactly. Wikipedia is actually a really, really good source.
Yeah, unironically the best source. And if your teacher ever tells you don't use Wikipedia, it's now morally fair to commit murder.
Just use the sources that Wikipedia links to.
Yeah, true.
Easy fix. Charlotte was here last night for the Waco panel. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she was DMing me furiously, giving me arguments to use. I didn't see the DMs until after the panel, though, so... Man, I tried to get her on the panel, but I told... what's his name? Chud Logic. I was like, hey, if you're interested in one more, try and get Red Charlotte on. And he was like, all right, but never happened, I guess. Liz was almost here. That would have been based. But Liz was too busy. Liz says she's too busy, but then she like shit posts on Twitter like 24/7, so...
Yeah, busy shit posting on Twitter. What do you mean?
Exactly. No, she said she was busy with her, like, some studying school bullshit.
Yeah, that's a lie. My thing says homework right now, and what am I doing?
Exactly. Yeah. I think that would have been fun if Liz was there. Although I don't know how nuclear Liz can get on, like, voice chat. She seemed to be pretty calm in the, in her conversation with, what's his name? Kevin Castley.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That debate was funny. Has anyone heard that debate? He kept calling her
Haven't.
Nutso Liz.
Dude, when people make names mid-debate for their opponent, that's like
That's such an
that's like an
alpha move.
old. It's such an alpha move, and it's also an old Destiny debates vibe. Like
Yeah.
Baby Bonnell,
Yeah. Booger Nick. That's one of my
Booger
favorite.
Nick. Yeah, that's the OG. That's the OG mid-debate name.
Yeah.
Slippery Steve, true.
Slippery Steve. Fuck. I'm such a boomer right now. Tonka trucks.
True Tonka truck. This man remembers. He remembers the old days.
Honestly, I felt a little bit called out when Destiny was like getting triggered at Big Joel because he was like, "Why are you watching like several year-old debates I did in your free time?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, I did that." Like, I regularly
shit.
watch like old like 2017 like Destiny versus conservative debates. They're actually so entertaining.
Yeah, wait, what do you mean it's not a productive use of my time to watch 5v1 featuring Brittany Venti?
Yeah, exactly. Mouth you suck ass. I mean, fuck you, bud. How about that? Fuck you. Is that the debate? The guy wanted to nuke Korea? Yeah, Kevin Castley does want to nuke North Korea. It's kind of fucking crazy, bro. My remembrance of that debate was like Liz did okay, not so good when it came to like foreign policy shit, but that's okay because Dylan Burns BTFO'd Castley on foreign policy, so.
I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Okay, have fun.
Actually, I might come back, but you can dodge me if you want, because I know I'm hogging.
Yeah, you're right. I'm very scared of your argumentation. It's too much.
Yeah, I know.
For me to handle.
High level ideas. All right, see ya.
See you later, bud.
Wait, what?
What? What? Have you lost the ability?
Have you lost the ability? Hi, Murphy. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Lawrence?
I'm doing actually fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah. Fucking true.
Are you high right now?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm a little bit high, yeah.
It's
Just a
funny
little
because
bit.
when I asked that question, I knew there was a 60% chance the answer would be yes.
Only 60%? Really? Holy shit. Fair enough.
If I underestimated your power.
Yeah, I think you fucking did. Considering I'm pretty much high every single time I'm on Discord.
Yeah.
Except the days I don't have weight, which is right now.
It's tragic.
That's tragic, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
It's a fucking travesty. Give me a minute. I need to see my crane.
Are you mad? 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 I think you've lost the ability.
Yo.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man? How's everyone doing here?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I just got done eating Wendy's, man.
What'd you say?
I just got done eating Wendy's.
Oh,
That
you
shit
got done
slapped.
eating Wendy's? Nice. Do you work at Wendy's?
I work at McDonald's, so I just betrayed my company.
Damn, what a race traitor.
Bro, McDonald's is closed. This is my only option.
Damn.
Fuck them.
What's your, do you have any, like, disgusting, surprise, shock, bombshell McDonald's facts to hit us with? Like they actually use kids or something in their burgers?
all I know about the burgers is I'm trying to think of something nasty. I think something that's kind of nasty. It's kind of like false advertising. Is we have these, the quarter pounder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're supposed to make those fresh. Like they're supposed to just automatically be made every time you order them. You're supposed to be made fresh, and we don't do that at all. We let those bitches sit there for a long time, pre-made, and that's all we're supposed to do. So it tastes like shit.
Listen, McDonald's is best, alright? As a Britbonger, we only have like 3 or 4 fast food chains that are American, so we don't get like Wendy's or anything like that. McDonald's is best. Anyone that disagrees is wrong. Alright.
The best thing about America, and I've said this, I'll like people like call me a chauvinist or whatever. I repeatedly defend America's status as like the best country. Okay, one of my favorite elements of American culture is the fact that if you live in like, I don't even live in like a big city, but it like wherever you live, you can usually like go out and you can find like 30, 40 different fucking chain fast food restaurants like wherever you are at all times,
like,
within like a 10 fucking minute radius.
Yeah, like
it's pretty
what the
base.
Yeah, America. Yeah, America's different to the UK in that regard.
Yeah.
It's not something I considered much in the past.
Yeah.
That's why I don't support communism. We wouldn't have 20 fucking fast food chains to choose from.
Exactly, dude. I want I want competing broken up social wealth funds that have active investments in McDonald's and Wendy's. Okay.
Eating fucking fast food co-ops.
Exactly.
Not gonna lie, I'm highly considering scraping like the what's it called, like if you smoke weed, there's like the oils and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I am very strongly considering scraping the oils off of like my bong and stuff like that, and just sitting smoking it right now.
Sounds fucking disgusting.
It actually
You need to
does sound
fucking
disgusting.
reevaluate your relationship with marijuana, my dude. That's fucking
Marijuana is
unhealthy.
marijuana, my friend. alright?
Holy shit.
That's not unhealthy. It's unhealthy to sit and smoke weed every day, but like sitting and smoking weed that you've already smoked, well, listen, that's on your level, alright?
Yeah.
The world's first fucking weed addict here.
Dude,
Get this kind of rehab.
unironically, Lawrence is fucking incredibly addicted to marijuana. It's insane.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's
You're
really
the
bad, yeah.
you're the only person I've ever met who like unironically is like can't stop smoking marijuana. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can't stop smoking it, you're right, yeah. It actually makes me like really bad to not smoke it. Yeah.
It is. It just is, especially if you're smoking it, because it has more tar than cigarettes. I'm sorry, this is just a fact.
I don't really care.
Okay, well, it's one thing. It's one thing to say you don't really care. It's another thing to say that it's completely harmless, because it's not. If
Oh,
you're-
I don't think I said it was completely harmless. Did I say that?
Is,
I feel like
is anything completely harmless though?
no, but you understand my point, right?
Yeah, like weed isn't completely harmless, yeah, of course.
If you eat it, it's a lot less harmful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also much less harmful if you take out the THC, but then that's kind of like the whole point.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what you're seeking, I suppose. If you're looking for like the high, the THC would be like the important part, and if you're looking for like the more, medicinal like values, that would come from like mostly the CBD. Although you can find medicinal value in THC. I fucking don't know. I've got weed brain. All right, I don't know.
This man's fucking zooted.
Honestly, God, I feel like my my cognitive ability over the last like couple of months has just like slowly like slipped. It's really fucking funny. Oh God. Holy shit.
Okay, wait. I'm reading a Snopes article right now. Okay, it says a somewhat misleading infographic concerning the amount of tar deposited into smokers' lungs by marijuana is frequently shared on social media sites.
Okay,
And
wait.
then it
Just
says-
to be clear, to be clear, I learned this in a health class. So
Sure.
if
Yeah.
if I learned incorrectly, this is a fault of the American education system and not a fault of me trusting things on social media.
Gotcha.
Okay, just
Yeah, sure.
just saying here.
No, I definitely heard the same thing in health class. I'm just checking about it. It seems
have
to be
never
like
heard that before, to be honest. That was
technically
completely new.
It seems to be like technically true, but also somewhat misleading. So the Snopes article says, however, although it may be true that marijuana smoke deposits more tar into a smoker's lungs than tobacco smoke, the above displayed photograph does not accurately depict the difference in overall harm caused by to a tobacco smoker's lungs versus a marijuana smoker's lungs. Marijuana contains many of the same cancer-causing chemicals as tobacco smoke, but a recent study found no link between marijuana and an increased risk of lung cancer. According to Dr. Hall Morgenstern, oy vey, am I right, guys? A University of Michigan epidemiologist, this factor was likely attributable to the differences between marijuana and tobacco use. When you think about people smoking 20 to 40 cigarettes a day for 40 years, they're smoking hundreds of thousands of cigarettes. The exposure that marijuana users get is more than a magnitude of difference less. However, a study funded by the National Institute of Drug Abuse found that even heavy marijuana smokers did not have an increased risk of developing lung cancer. So it seems like, in conclusion, although it may be true that marijuana smoke deposits more tar into the lungs than tobacco smoke, current evidence does not indicate that the former results in potentially greater deleterious health effects. Interesting.
Can you link the actual study that they cited there?
Yeah, this article links all of them. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Because I am interested because technically they don't have double-blind randomized control trials to show that smoking causes cancer either. They just saw it from correlational studies, I believe. So I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I think this is saying that has a correlation.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why I want to read the study itself.
What's that? Cannabis
I'm
has
just
a
going off what
correlative
you said.
factor of making people losers, and that's just the truth.
Gotcha. Yeah, double-blind studies. It's interesting. That's actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that seems like a really good talking point to use. Because one of the things that like transphobes will bring up when you're talking about the evidence that transitioning is beneficial to trans people, one of the things they'll bring up is like, well, you can't really trust the evidence because there's no double-blind studies on the effects of transitioning because there couldn't
would
be,
be impossible.
Yeah, it would
That's
be unethical, right? Like you'd have to be denying a group of people who want to transition like the ability to do so in order to get like a and also like the effects of transitioning are way too easily like noticeable to be simulated.
It is morally it is morally reprehensible as well as practically impossible.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have a double-blind experiment for the effects of tattoos on skin health because tattoos are visible. You can't just give people a false tattoo. That doesn't I don't know. It's just not how it's just not how stuff works. You can't have double-blind experiments for transitioning. You can design experiments with control groups that are people who don't want to transition and don't transition and then compare it like that. But that's
and
not
of course
double-blind.
those so like one of the things, there was a study a while back and about the effects of transitioning on trans like well-being. It was a Swedish total population study, and there was a correction to it where, because the original study was like just purely longitudinal, it concluded that transitioning was beneficial, and then there was like a follow-up correction to that study where it said like, well, if you reanalyze the same data but with a control group consisting of trans people who never transitioned, you find that people who never transitioned were more mentally healthy. But like the problem there is that if you're taking a control group full of trans people who never transitioned, that's inevitably going to skew towards seeming more mentally healthy because it's going to include a bunch of people who never transitioned, but that's because like them being trans never caused them enough distress to like make them want to transition in the first place.
Exactly. It's like it's like if you, I mean, it's a little bit complicated with antidepressants, but it would be like if you had God, I actually don't want to use the analogy I was about to because there is actually compelling evidence to suggest that antidepressants don't work. But regardless, it's like you have to account for severity. Like if you don't transition, it could just be because you didn't have as
Right,
severe
yes,
of gender
yes, of
dysphoria.
course.
So
Yeah, of course, yeah. And that's why like a lot of people will bring up like, oh, you don't have a control group because you kind of can't, or a direct like perfect control group, which would be of course like a double-blind study. But like so a lot of people will say that like we can't draw a conclusion on the effects of transitioning on transgender well-being like based on that, but it's like you wouldn't apply that to anything else. Like you would never apply that same logic to like smoking, right? Like as you said, we don't have like double-blind studies on the effects of smoking. Generally what we do is we don't say that like, oh, we don't have any perfect studies so we can't draw a conclusion. Generally speaking, we just kind of like we go based on the evidence that we can acquire.
same is true of flossing, by the way. We don't have any double-blind studies or controls, double-blind randomized studies which show that flossing is good for your teeth, but or your gums. But it's widely recommended by dentists anyway, despite it not having as rigorous of evidence as it could. So it's just it's a silly talking point usually that people bring up when they just want to discredit science that they find inconvenient to their political ideology.
Like John Doyle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't hear what they
like
said.
Like John Doyle. Yeah, I did a video on John Doyle's trans takes a while back.
Oh my god, he was so stupid, like unbelievable.
Yeah. John Doyle's like, man, that video. It's not one of my most watched videos, the video I did on John Doyle, but I honestly think it's one of my best. Just because like the extent to which like John Doyle cited so many studies and so many data points in that video, and just the extent to which every single thing he cited like said the exact opposite of what he was saying. Like I was like astounded. Like he even cited this he cited this news story about people dying as a result of taking estrogen, of like people were like dying because of it, like thousands. And I looked it up, and the first result when I Googled it was that it was a viral fake news story. It's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
oh yeah, Crowder had this problem too when he said that he cited a study in his video that said that trans kids taking hormone blockers makes them transition.
John Doyle did the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, like it's correlation causation.
And if you read the study, the authors specifically say that the reason that all of the kids who took puberty blockers went on to take cross-sex hormones is because they were very carefully diagnosed, which, if anything, lends credence to the point that because like conservatives will often argue that like, well, what if we have desisters? And if anything, that study lends credence to the point that, well, if you make sure to carefully select who you're putting on these treatments, you generally don't see many desisters. Yeah.
And we are already so careful with this stuff. Like God, you hear stories of people waiting entirely too long to get stuff. Actually, like. I obviously I think that it's fine to be careful with like non-reversible treatments.
Yes.
But to my knowledge, there's no evidence of puberty blockers being irreversible except maybe some bone density problems. But
from my understanding, those bone density problems, so like when you're on puberty blockers, your bone density does worsen, but whether or not once you decide to stop taking hormones and either revert back to the puberty of the sex you were assigned at birth or go on to take cross-sex hormones, either one, after you stop administering puberty blockers, your bone density goes back to like the normal range. At least that's that's what I've seen. Yeah,
that could definitely be true. I didn't look super far into it, but I don't know. It frustrates me when people.
Like, I think one of the bigger problems, like Joe Rogan inviting like these like quote unquote scholars and academics like who know nothing on like trans people, who like make these empirically false statements about trans people on his platform. And, but like Joe Rogan has like a far bigger audience than John Doyle than like in Crowder.
Yeah,
I think.
Wait, are you guys talking about the Asian woman that he?
Deborah So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Jesus Christ.
So fucking stupid. Do you know here's the thing, right? My mum, all right, God love her, is a turf. All right, I live on Britbon Island. It's common here. All right, not as common as you would think, but it's common. And Deborah So appeared on Joe Rogan, and my mum was a Joe Rogan watcher, and it was just a complete train wreck. That like the title was just like. What was the title again? Like debunks gender spectrum or something like that.
Yeah.
It also debunks gender spectrum. It's like, what the fuck? And then I sat her down and we watched it together, and there was nothing that came of it, like, at all. Like, she didn't say anything worth of value. It was crazy.
Yeah. Of course.
Joe Rogan reminds me of like Dave Rubin, where he pretends to be open-minded, but like never invites like left-leaning people or like people who have like.
I will push back against that a little bit because he does have left-leaning people on. And I would say that Joe Rogan's bigger problem is that he is really inconsistent and kind of just agrees with whatever his guests will say and doesn't push back super hard.
I watch his COVID takes, and like he only invites like quote unquote libertarians on, but like
well, maybe COVID has changed it a little bit. I just remember in the past he had a little bit more of a diverse.
What was that? He did a video. There was some like edited video of him talking to Kanye, and he would like tell Kanye something, and then they would like play a clip of him saying the exact opposite thing. Like, hold on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because this is what a lot of people do, is they agree with whatever the last thing they heard was.
I will be right back. Okay, I just have to play this video on stream real quick.
Oh.
Or at least some of it.
Wait, hold on. Let's see what this video is.
All right, we're gonna watch a little bit.
You
of this.
have the courage to have all these bold ideas and to implement them and to do all these different things. That bothers people. And they see a guy like you and they like try to find flaws. They try to find things that are wrong with it. Instead of looking at the positive aspects of it, they'll only concentrate on the negative aspects of it. I don't see it that way. I've never saw it that way. I look at you, look at that guy. He can fucking do anything. I don't think Kanye West has a goddamn snowball's chance in hell of being president.
Okay, I see. I think Kanye could do it in 2020 if he runs.
He'll fall apart.
Is Ford to have the highest design, the dopest cars, the most amazing. I don't really say dope. I don't say negative words and try to flip them. We just say positive, lovely, divine, universal words.
Okay, stop.
So
I'm getting stupid
the-
just listening to this.
Jesus fucking
Listen, you
Christ.
dumb motherfucker. Ford makes dope cars. If that's not dope, Kanye!
I don't know what's dope.
What are you going to teach the people at Ford how to design cars? Shut the fuck up and make your shitty slides.
Positive words, divine.
Make your slides that are too short, or these goddamn Yeezys that Jamie bought for me that I will never wear. It's all so stupid.
It's so
Why
stupid.
is he listening to Kanye West? Give him a spelling bee first. Give him a spelling bee, and then you say, listen, if you can get 10 out of 20
10
words,
out of 20 words.
correctly.
It tears me to my core that my daughter has to learn TWO, the difference between TWO, TOO, and TO. I want to just be like, just draw the number 2. Like, just make it like, sometimes I don't know when, you
None
know,
of the
the
things you're
difference.
saying are crazy. None of the things you said are crazy. It's fascinating the way you think, because I can see that you're thinking in all these different layers and you're looking at things from all these different perspectives, and they all come together out of your mouth in like a tornado of ideas. Now, if someone wants to just have a conversation with you back and forth, I could see where they would go, this guy's crazy. He just doesn't stop. He's just ranting. He's got a problem, and you hear it when he rants. But what I'm seeing is just you're a very thorough thinker. You're thinking at things independently, but you're thinking at things in a massive perspective. I think Kanye's ill. I really do. He's listening to himself and jerking off to the noises that are coming out of his own mouth. But see, the Kanye thing is like they just let him rant about shit. And no one goes, wait, what? That is not the ravings of someone who's carefully considering the implications of each word they're saying and thinking about how to express themselves in a way that's going to portray some sort of a clear, cohesive message.
That my calling is to be the leader of the free world. I'm a great leader because I listen. I'm going to listen to the kids, bro. You know, I'm going to listen to my daughter. I'm going to listen to
Tornado of ideas.
kids before I listen to, you know, super programmed out adults.
He's not what he's doing. What he's doing
I
is
love this like line of thinking because it like sounds so woke. Like, I'm gonna listen to the kids. Like, okay, let kids draft your fucking trade policy. See how that goes, bro.
jerking off. He's just jerking off with his mouth. I'm not kidding. It's just what he's doing is
super programmed out adults.
He's not what he's doing. What he's doing is jerking off. He's just jerking off with his mouth. I'm not kidding. It's just like, yeah, let me get it out. This is a fine wine. You know, we're gonna make the dopest cars. Why can't Ford make the dopest cars? You know,
Did you?
When anybody ever talks about you to me, they say, well, he's all over the place.
Kanye is a lunatic.
Yeah. And I say, I think that he's got a different power source. Most people have like a 20-watt charger. The way I describe you, I say, I think that motherfucker's got like a 150-watt charger. These ideas are just coming at him. So you do go on these rants that sometimes need to be dissected into individual things. But overall, you're incredibly productive. Why do people think there's something wrong with you? He's obviously got mental health issues. He's legitimately mentally ill. I mean, look, he didn't marry that lady and be a part of that family because he's thinking straight. He's got some problems. There's something wrong with him.
People saying, "Oh, it's just a cheap, partisan, hacky point."
But no, it's not, because he's admittedly mentally ill.
He did say that in the thing. He said I was diagnosed bipolar.
Institutionalized.
Yeah.
He spent time in a mental hospital.
Yeah.
For being mentally ill. You're literally trying to deconstruct and reimagine the idea of civilization.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Oh. That was fucking good. That was so fucking good. Holy shit. Oh. No, I never thought Kanye was... I never had any concept in my mind that Kanye was like gonna be a serious candidate. Never.
Listen to him in forever. Oh my god, Mouthy. That's
Did
the
you guys see that
funniest video I've seen.
Oh
in a
my
while.
god. Dude, my favorite part was when he tells Kanye, he goes, "People tell me that guy's crazy," and I say, "No, he isn't. He has a different power source." And then that guy's like, "Kanye's crazy," and he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Holy
God,
shit.
I hate disingenuous people so much. They just
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can tolerate a lot of things that are like bad about a person as long as they're genuine.
Mhm.
And I feel like being disingenuous is almost just the worst of all moral failings that you could have, just because it makes you unpredictable.
Mhm.
It makes it so that you can't reliably figure out what somebody will believe or say, and I don't really like that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
He poses as like an honest, open-minded person, though, which is interesting.
Yeah. Do you think that there are Joe Rogan listeners who don't listen to all of his interviews, but only listen to the ones with people they ideologically will agree with?
Oh, for sure, 100%. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I feel like that has to be part of it.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah.
Of
There's
his
a reason
appeal.
why like the like to dislike ratio on like Abigail Schreier videos was like positive, I think.
Yeah, and then if you look at like the
Abigail
like to
who now?
dislike ratios on like his David Pakman interviews, it's like fucking crazy negative. Yeah.
Who is
Abigail Schreier was this transphobe TERF type who wrote this book called Irreversible Damage.
Oh, that's the
trans
yeah.
craze that's seducing our
That's the
kids.
one that
Yeah.
that's the one that Jangles did a video on. Watch.
I remember he invited Candace Owens and like Candace Owens like didn't believe in climate change because the article by like the Scientific American ended with a .com.
He
So
did.
it was like
I think he did actually push back.
He did,
on
yeah, no, that was
one in
that was
specific.
actually one of his. There's been 2 times. One time was with Candace Owens. The other time was with Steven Crowder, where Joe Rogan actually went like super fucking hard on like dunking on someone on his
Didn't
show.
he go hard on Molyneux's like cult thing, like cult stuff?
I think he did. Yeah, yeah.
I
went hard on Dave Rubin, too.
question even having Molyneux on though. Honestly, Like,
yeah, 100%.
I think
I would
that there
have
are just-
Molyneux on like my stream, but only to just like completely dunk on him. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Molyneux just doesn't have anything positive to offer
Mm-hmm.
discourse in general. Like,
Mhm.
everything he says is a lie. Everything he says is incredibly misinformed about just every subject he talks about. He makes an absolute ass of himself.
It's like inviting Lauren Southern to like a podcast.
I know.
I would love to debate Stefan Molyneux. That would be so. I would know. I would fucking crush Stefan Molyneux. I know everything he's gonna say.
God. Yeah, his philosophy stuff gets on my nerves the most because it's like
universally preferable behavior.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Dave Rubin makes me even more mad, honestly.
Well, I mean, Dave Rubin is just one of those disingenuous people who will adapt to whatever.
No,
anybody
he's
in
so
the room
bad
says.
at it though. He's so
Yeah.
stupid. He's so stupid. It's unbearable. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
To continue.
Yeah, Joe Rogan went really hard on Crowder for his weed take. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was actually like fucking.
Well, yeah,
yelling
that's
at Crowder,
because Joe Rogan likes drugs.
Yeah, of
like
course,
that personally impacts him, which is why
Mm-hmm.
he goes so hard on it. Like
drugs.
Yeah.
I think that's what you'll find is that people care most about stuff that they think personally impacts them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also why I really dislike Joe Rogan's show a lot of the time, is because it feels like two people talking about issues that none of them have any material like incentive to care about,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like doing the whole friendly disagreement thing. Because the myth of the idea of friendly disagreement is something that you can only have if you're not the one who's impacted by policy decisions that are being made.
Yeah.
Like imagine a type 1 diabetic who relies on government subsidized health insurance being friends with somebody who wants to take away their health insurance. Like, is that something that realistically would ever happen? No. It's only ever people who are insulated enough such that they will never face any consequences for their perceived disagreements.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Also, that's my problem with Joe Rogan. He sometimes like pretends there's nuance to a topic when there's really not, like the trans stuff, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does the trans stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He goes really hard against trans athletes.
Yeah. Without any empirical evidence, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
All
He, oh man,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan had that Adam Conover guy, and they
Oh my
started
God, I
arguing
remember
about
the
trans
fucking
stuff.
the alpha male shit.
Jesus, no, the trans stuff. Joe Rogan, fucking like he literally brought up the Sweden study to like say that transitioning doesn't help trans people, and like, oh man, I wish I was there so much. Jesus Christ. Oh,
I don't
man.
think Adam's show is very well researched. I think he has good intentions, but it's generally the sources he cites are not very good. They're like articles and not actual studies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because he did like I remember watching, he did a behind the scenes episode of his show, and he was like, our researchers put so much work into fact checking everything we cite, and they cite like 3 things in an episode, and it's like articles.
Yeah.
How much fucking fact checking did you do there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Mouthy, do you stream daily? Or like, wait, what's your schedule?
No, I don't really have a schedule, honestly. I just kind of like, I'll stream if I have like free time and I'm kind of bored and whatever. Shit. Okay, does anybody know how I turn super chats on or whatever?
I have no idea.
Because I have no fucking idea how to do that.
We have to meet some like certain criteria to get that shit. I can't remember what the numbers were.
So first you have to sign into studio.youtube.com.
Oh, sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, you want me to continue?
Yeah, go for it.
In the left menu, click monetization. In the menu at the top of the main dish, click supers. Get started and follow on screen instructions.
Okay. I don't think I have enough viewers yet to where I'd get a substantial amount of super chats, but I'll look into it soon enough. Oh, speaking of monetizing, I should take this opportunity to shill. I'm writing a patron essay right now. Just last week, I released one where I gave all of the basic arguments and sources that I was going to give for my debate with Sargon that he didn't show up for. So I had this 3,000 word, over 3,000 word, 15-page non-double spaced doc with a fuck ton of studies and arguments. And I'd watched some debates with Sargon, so I wrote down counter arguments to the points that I anticipated him making. So I put that all in an essay, patron essay. I'm working on another one right now. It should be out within the week. So if anybody in chat who's watching right now is interested in reading more of the stuff that I put out, or just supporting me, feel free to become a patron. It's only $5 a month. It's pretty great deal.
You should honestly just turn that. You sound like you got most of the work done there, but you should just turn that into a research doc, and you can just add shit to it.
It is a research doc, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But why would I demonetize my research?
Yeah.
Sounds
put it behind a paywall, so if people want to see your well-researched sources,
exactly.
They have to pay up.
Exactly.
Imagine a debate between Mouthy and Charlie Kirk. Oh my god, I would love to see that.
God,
honestly.
there's a certain group of people, or just a list of people who I know would never debate me, but are on that I would pay so much money to debate them. Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro, Joe Rogan.
Didn't Shapiro debated Ro Khanna on the minimum wage?
Mm-hmm.
He debated Ro Khanna from California, from the minimum wage.
Yeah, I know,
Ro Khanna absolutely demolished him,
Oh,
and
did
he
he?
made
I
a
didn't see
video, and he made a video afterwards, a 1-minute video, and saying titled "Never lose an argument against a leftist ever again." And it was this ratio was pretty interesting.
Wait, are you talking about Ben Shapiro, right?
Yeah, I have Ben Shapiro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, he debated Ro Khanna?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ro Khanna. Yeah.
That's so funny. What the fuck? He talks to weird
apparently he
people.
didn't do too well.
Ben or Ro Khanna?
Ben.
I didn't watch it. I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I didn't like Ro Khanna's attitude after the fact, where he was like, "Oh, it was fun, and I had healthy disagreement." I don't know. Maybe he needs to do that as a politician to keep face, but
yeah.
That feels very much like the whole thing I was talking about a second ago with people having friendly disagreements over things that don't even affect them, kind of stuff. So I don't know.
I think it applies differently to a politician, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a politician has to maintain some level of respectability, but I don't know. It's weird to navigate. I wish that they didn't defer so much to respectability, I guess. Especially Democrats.
It's like what Yang did when he went on a fucking show with Ben Shapiro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, that.
Alfie, do you think John Doe is stupid enough to debate you? Or is he
He debated actual Jake, who I don't even like that guy. Fuck that guy.
What do you have against actual Jake? I don't even know anything about them.
I don't know. He just pretty much everything I've seen from him. Just he struck me as kind of dumb and kind of kind of unlikable. Oh, I remember one of the things that he did that pissed me off was oh man,
he was Kyle Tier +1.
Yeah, there was this video going around where these kids were spitting on and relentlessly bullying this one kid who was he was wearing a MAGA hat. And if you watch the video, it's very clear to me that this kid who's wearing the MAGA hat, it's like, yeah, fuck him for wearing a MAGA hat. But this kid was very clearly like ultra fucking awkward and like ultra like weird, like probably had like autism or like, I don't want to like armchair psychologize, but very, very clearly like socially awkward or impaired in some way. And like these people were like these like girls were like spitting on him and like hitting him and like doing all this like crazy shit for wearing a MAGA hat. And people were like, hey, this is probably fucked up. You probably shouldn't do that. And this actual Jake guy was like, huh, yeah, you should bully your oppressors, kids. Like cheering it on. Like, dude, what kind of like cringy fucking keyboard warrior shit? Like, dude, you're a fucking grown 30-year-old, like mid-30s fucking middle-aged fucking man saying that like cheering on like bullying awkward like high school kids. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, fuck off.
If it's in the realm of like physical stuff, then I think at that point it's way too far. I don't necessarily have a problem with socially ostracizing people who have bigoted beliefs, though. I think that is completely justified in a lot of scenarios because exclusion from social spaces allows people who they would otherwise put down to have their voices heard. But it shouldn't
I don't
be
know.
like...
Do you think exclusion of people with like fucked up beliefs is the best route, or do you think like including them in your social spaces as a means of like trying to convince them would be like more productive?
It depends on your goal. So like, for example, I love talking to people and I love trying to convince people of different positions, and like that's great. But some people don't want that. And some people would rather have their own space where they don't have to justify themselves to everybody. And honestly, I think that's fair. I think that's fine. And you know, there's a time and a place for productive discussions, and it's just, you know, when people are actually there and not up for it and not up to like justify their own existence, I don't really feel like they need an excuse to exclude somebody, because rehabilitating somebody who has bad opinions shouldn't come at the cost of hurting a bunch of other people.
I would never expect like a group of like LGBT or like trans people to like be taking in like fucking crazy shitty like transphobes into their social spaces to like try to convert them. I would never say that. But at the same time, I would never like, I would say either ostracize them if that person being in your group makes you uncomfortable, then ostracize them. If you think that like you have a good chance at rehabilitating them and it doesn't like put like a bunch of drain on you to do so, then probably do that. But I can't imagine like advocating that the best policy is to like beat the shit out of someone.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
You
especially
should
if you're
not
like a fucking 35-year-old dude, like fucking cheering on, like beating up like high school kids. Like, Jesus Christ, like how fucking
that would
pathetic.
just never be productive. It's not productive for oppressed groups because it kind of just inspires rumination on problems, which is not psychologically very healthy. And it also makes you look really bad to outsiders. And it's also just a bridge too far to start like spitting on people.
And it probably just like reinforces the beliefs of the person with shitty beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. They will be reinforced, and you know, sometimes social ostracization will also do that. But
that's like more permissible in the sense of like, like we shouldn't expect like members of oppressed groups to like be constantly shat on so that they can like hopefully rehabilitate someone.
It's another thing to actively go out of your way to start.
Of course. Like
So
bullying someone.
So at my school, right, we had like a band concert, right, and a bunch of these like MAGA dudes like came into like the band room and tore down like the gay pride flag and keep stomping on it, and I believe they were suspended for a couple of weeks, I think.
I mean, that seems fine to me. Well, actually, I don't really like suspensions as a concept. I think that they should have been reprimanded in some way. I don't think that suspension from school usually does anything. If anything, I think that it puts people in a position where they won't learn from their mistakes at all. And I get that the point of suspend. I feel like the point of suspension should only be if somebody poses an active threat to other people, and that's just not how it's used. It's used as a blanket punishment for anything, and that kind of irks me. But irrespective of that, I think that the symbolism behind doing that is itself provocative and makes people feel unsafe. So I think some administrative action would have been necessary in that case.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry if I'm talking a lot.
No, you're
I
good.
shouldn't be.
So you're saying that beating the shit out of kids is bad optics?
Yeah. Otherwise, though, if you can get away with it, you absolutely should, though.
Okay. I think we've found some common ground now, and we can resolve it.
Jeez.
So what's the evidence of Candace Owen being a grifter? I was always confused about that.
Literally her entire life and everything she's ever done with her presence on the internet is probably evidence of that.
Before she was a conservative, she had this anti-bullying site where people were supposed to upload the doxes of people that were bullies so that they could be targeted. It was really strange and unironically very authoritarian. It just kind of comes across as her hopping on trends in order to get money and stuff.
Okay.
And also there's a bunch of other small stuff, like her saying that she's never faced any discrimination for being black, but also filing lawsuits.
Lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also just the magnitude of just how fucking stupid the shit she says is. Some people just say shit that's so stupid that I can't imagine someone saying that unless they're a grifter.
And
but maybe that's just me overestimating people's intelligence.
Like we live in a communist country, for example.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, we don't? Fuck.
Apparently, TPUSA has a professor watch list. Peep and Cheap is putting this in debate chat. Is
that just professors you should kill because they're libs?
Unironic cancel culture. This is cancel culture on college campuses kind of stuff, you know? You want to talk about cancel culture. This is going after individual professors.
This is literally just neo-McCarthyism.
Yeah, exactly. Like when conservatives get ousted from academia, it's because they publish bad research. It's not because they are conservatives. And there are plenty of conservatives who maintain positions in academia just so long as they continue to publish research that's good, you know?
Like economists?
Yeah. I mean, economics as a field has some problems, but yes, there are a lot of conservative economists who do honest scholarly work who are not ostracized. Also, I don't know where the perception is that there are just all these Marxists in university when all university economics departments are.
Well, to be fair, I think in economics, so people talk about is academia right wing or left wing. It just depends on the discipline. Like sociology, for example, I think tends to skew very heavily left wing, but economics, for example, skews very heavily right wing. So it just kind of depends on what you're studying. Yeah,
for sure, and that's kind of. Huh?
You go. Yeah.
No, you can go first.
Okay. I think the reason for that is because sociology has a lot to do with a concept called the sociological imagination or some shit like that. And basically, you just have to consider other perspectives, while economics tends to be a lot more, individualistic and determining, rational individual choices in the economy.
You could just do a combination. There's economic sociology. It's a thing that exists.
That's what Marxism is.
True. That's what I was gonna say.
Not really. Economic sociology is just a broader field that I guess Marxism could fall under, or Marxists could fall under. But there are purely economists, pure economists who are Marxists. There are not many, and the academic journals that propagate Marxism are very fringe and not very reliable. But every once in a while you get something good, but not very often.
I feel like there is actually probably a greater proportion of Marx-influenced sociologists than Marx-influenced economists in colleges by a lot.
And as well as philosophers, there are a lot more Marx-influenced philosophers than there are economists.
True.
Well, may I ask what made you all guys like lefties and leftists? For me, it was how bench.
When I was 10 years old, I read Failed States by Noam Chomsky, and I've been a leftist ever since that.
Did you really
I have
it at 10 years old?
Yeah, I can
Wow.
actually I've posted screenshots on Twitter before. I have videos from when I was 11 years old where I'm talking about the war on terror, economic policy. I've unlisted the videos because it's pretty embarrassing and a lot of my arguments were very bad. But yeah, I do have a secret.
I mean, you were 10
unlisted
years
YouTube
old.
channel. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
You can't expect your arguments to be very good at 10 years old.
I would
the original Doge. Holy shit!
I would absolutely crush 10-year-old me in a debate. It wouldn't even be funny.
So what made me a lefty is how Ben Shapiro constantly strawmans his opposition. I found it I used to be an enlightened centrist, but I watched Ben Shapiro clips and oh my god, they were infuriating.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pretty annoying.
For me, I grew up in a conservative house. My dad is very conservative. Listens to Sean Hannity all day long, talk show host, shit like that. So that's what he exposed me to when I was growing up. So I was conservative until probably 14 or 15. And what brought me out of it mostly is because I always held the core values of equality and all that type of shit. And I started to realize that those values didn't coincide with any right-leaning position at all. And so that mostly drove me to be a centrist for a little bit and go further left, and I'm here now at fully leftist.
Pog.
You mean neoliberal?
Dang.
Damn.
God, what was it? I mean, it was I think probably the biggest factor was Destiny, honestly, which is kind of sad, but that's mostly what it was, and I still maintain a lot of respect for Destiny to this day, despite disagreeing with him on a lot.
Yeah.
Because something I've always, I guess, something I've always really valued is a thought process as opposed to coming to good conclusions. And I feel like Destiny has a good thought process, even if he doesn't always come to great conclusions. So I guess that's what attracted me to him. And then I kept watching his stuff, and then he was yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't super politically involved before that. I wouldn't have been able to describe my political ideology. I had some pretty strong political prescriptions on certain things, though, and they were mostly related to abstract moral questions. So for example, in 8th grade, I did a speech in English class on how I felt all drugs should be legal, what else have I done? I had prolonged it's really funny because I had prolonged debates with people over the morality of incest before I watched Destiny, before I ever watched a video of his. And it was so funny because after I found him, I'm damn, he's been having these exact same arguments before, and it really helped me relate to him, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And then from that, I just kind of moved left. I started reading stuff. I don't know.
That actually kind of reminds me. Back in middle school, I wrote oh my god, this is so cringy. I don't want to say this. I wrote a persuasive essay that I presented to the class on why feminism was bad.
Dang.
It was real cringe. It was real cringe shit.
Feminism bad.
Oh, that was so bad. Holy
Oh,
shit.
also, I was another thing that I was really into was atheism. I was a 14-year-old atheist. Okay, and to this day I kind of still am just that 14-year-old atheist. I haven't really dropped a lot of my vitriol towards religion conceptually.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better about not being insufferable about it, I suppose.
Sure.
As long as you're self-aware, it's fine.
I mean, I disagree that self-awareness is necessarily better, but
Yeah, that was mostly that was.
I think it's
sort of
generally
sarcastic.
a virtue.
Yeah,
But-
it's something that I
can't always
personally
tell.
appreciate at least.
I mean, I'm. It's fine to be self-aware. I don't know. It's if you're a self-aware Nazi, is it really like?
Yeah, there's an extent
Yeah.
to which
Yeah.
it can actually limit your badness, for sure.
Yeah. I will have atheist arguments all day though if I'm
Yeah, I
prompted.
still do.
And
I've been watching there's this like small atheist YouTube channel called like Digital Gnosis, like digital and then like GNOSIS, and they have like 10-hour videos like dissecting like Kalam cosmological arguments and shit that I've been like watching. I don't
you
know
guys
why
know
I
the
still
YouTube
interested
channel
in that kind of thing.
TMM?
Yes, he follows me on
TMM.
Twitter. Yeah,
Okay, he's like he's an atheist as well,
Mhm.
or he calls himself an atheist actually, which means that you don't believe that there's a coherent definition of God, and that in order to say that one exists, you need to define it coherently, which I think I generally agree with. But like he does good atheist videos that aren't just terrible and leading people in a terrible direction. I thought he was way more based than he actually is though, because like in some of his videos he was talking about like, you know, these people are always talking about authority and how authority is like how the authorities are bad, but they never question authority itself. And I'm like, oh dang, this is like an anarchist talking point. And then in one of his videos, like he's just like, oh, I'm a social democrat, and I'm like, no, you were so close to being based. But
no, he's
but alas.
trust social democracy is more based. Okay,
down. Okay, mouthy infidel.
dunked on. Absolutely, anarchists in shambles right now.
Shut up, mouthy liberal.
Mouthy liberal.
Do you know what's funny? Like when Ben Shapiro Carter talks about like how Trump like had the lowest unemployment in history. Like they never mention like bring up a graph on like unemployment numbers and like also like total numbers of persons with jobs. You think?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
number of people with jobs.
They also just don't look at larger trends. They want to look at things in isolation as if Trump's policies are what led to the low unemployment, as opposed to like
I'm looking at the graph, the total number of people with jobs, and it's like the graph like in the like is pretty linear. It's funny.
Yeah.
I'm getting your attention.
I feel like statistics should be a required class because people
Oh
misrepresent
yeah,
them
definitely.
all the time.
What do you think should be a curriculum in school, Mouthy?
What did you say?
What do you think it should be like a curriculum in school?
What should be
That's needed?
curriculum in school?
Yeah.
My God, you're watching that clip. Oh my God.
I think like critical thinking and like how to critically engage with media and shit is like really important. And that's one of the things they have in like I was talking to my friends in Sweden, and they said that like one of the reason why the Swedish population just votes in better ways than the US does is because like they actually like take classes and like how to critically engage with like media and shit. And so like the general population in Sweden is like much more informed and much more politically engaged than like the US population. I think that's like pretty important.
I feel like this is just something that they should teach in English class, like that they don't a lot of the time. There's a lot of stuff I wish they taught in English class that they don't really like. they only teach about books, for example, when there are so many other forms of art that they could be teaching about that are just as important as writing, or just as expressive, or have the potential to express things in different ways. Like, I don't know. That frustrates me.
I remember having English. There was English language and English lit, and like language went through like articles and like how those are made.
Yep. That's the same. Like, we haven't. It's kind of funny. We haven't done any like thematic analysis of stuff until 12th grade, which is silly in my opinion.
12th grade. Oh,
it's whatever. Oh, hold on, Rose. Are you talking? I can't hear you if you are, but maybe.
No, I just have my noise gate turned down to like the lowest possible, so that you can hear all of my background noise all the time.
I see.
Thank you.
You're
oh,
welcome.
Another thing, people should be forced to learn, like first order logic. What's the word for it? Is it sentiential? Sentiental? I don't know. It's just first order logic, like very basic stuff.
Do you think philosophy should be taught in school, or that's like too?
I wish it were.
I
wish
you could
like
definitely do like an intro to
I wish
philosophy course.
very basic philosophical.
Is that not
concepts
normal?
were. Nope. There aren't even any philosophy courses as electives in my school.
Like a lot of them in my school.
Do you live in the
Guys,
United States?
I'll be
Yeah,
back.
I live in Florida.
Gonna go over an article real quick.
Okay, you do that, Mel.
Let's read this. Biden's first big win and what comes next. The relief bill changed how America does welfare. It's a start. So my understanding of the bill is, there's a graphic, cool. $100 billion for public health, $27 billion for rental assistance, $350 billion for states and cities, $170 billion for schools, $14,000 checks, healthcare assistance, $3,600 year per year child allowance, 6 months pandemic unemployment insurance. Yeah, so one of the main things about the child allowance is that it used to be that the child tax credit was phases in with income, so you can't actually receive the child tax credit if you're like a lowest income earner. But the COVID relief bill actually made it so that the lowest income earners can receive the full benefit and do receive the full benefit. So that's really fucking cool. In general, my position on the COVID relief stimulus is that it's easily one of the best pieces of American legislation in decades. Very great. I'm very happy with how the stimulus bill ended up. Let's read this. Noah Smith generally has pretty good takes. Well, folks, we have a relief bill. Biden said it was going to be $1.9 trillion, and by God, it is $1.9 trillion. Not quite as big as the CARES Act, but plenty big nonetheless. A lot of people are going to poo-poo this bill, either because they were really hoping it would include a minimum wage increase, or because they have it in for Biden and the Democratic establishment, or simply because it's been a really rough year and people are stuck in a rut of despair. But the fact is, Biden just scored a big win for the average American. And he links a tweet. Despite having only a 50-vote Senate majority, Democrats are about to pass a nearly $2 trillion bill that puts more than $7,600 into the bank account of the typical family of four, establishes America's first proper child allowance on a temporary basis for now. I heard that they're going to try and make the temporary allowance permanent in an upcoming reconciliation bill, and that would be historic. Like, that would be incredible if that passed, if the child allowance was made permanent. Like, holy shit. Cash is king. This bill is all about cash, cash, cash. Other than the spending on public health, pretty much every major item is some form of mailing a check to somebody. The only major provision that would actually change the way the economy functions, the federal $15 minimum wage, ended up being dropped from the bill. A lot of people, by the way, this is me talking now. A lot of people are very upset that like Kamala Harris didn't try to overrule the Senate parliamentarian to try and force the $15 minimum wage into the stimulus bill. But the problem is, if Kamala Harris would have done that, then they would have voted on it. Joe Manchin, Sinema, certain Democratic senators have already said that they would refuse to overrule the parliamentarian by voting on a $15 minimum wage after it had been rejected. So basically, they would have forced the vote. The bill would have failed. They would have been back to the drawing board to like start a new bill. So it would have massively delayed COVID stimulus, which not only would hurt a lot of people who desperately need stimulus now, but also would have massively fucked the Democrats electorally. So like people advocating for Kamala Harris like overriding the parliamentarian was like unbelievably fucking stupid. Now, part of this is because of the reconciliation process. In order to get around the filibuster, this had to be a budget bill, and the official reason that the $15 minimum wage got dropped was that it wasn't a budget measure. I think this justification is bullshit. I think the parliamentarian just rejected it because they didn't like the bill. From my understanding, there have been, according to the CBO, the federal $15 minimum wage would affect the budget pretty substantially, and much less or much more so than other things which the parliamentarian has allowed to pass through reconciliation. But I think it also reflects a growing intellectual shift towards the idea of direct cash benefits as the optimal form of government intervention in the economy. This is a very important takeaway. I'm a huge advocate of welfare being primarily based on just direct cash payments to people. And the fact that this sort of coronavirus is normalizing that and showing people that this is like a good idea and that it works, I think is really one of the major silver linings of the coronavirus pandemic. I plan to write a Bloomberg post about this soon, but basically, I think there are several factors that motivate this shift. The CARES Act demonstrated the value of cash benefits. A bunch of economic research supports the idea of cash transfers. Incentive-based programs haven't had a lot of obvious benefits, and free marketers have come around to the idea of cash as the government intervention they dislike least. What's interesting is that unlike the CARES Act, Biden's relief bill promises to make cash payments a permanent feature of our economy. The most important item, in my opinion, is the $14,000 with a $1,400 checks or pandemic UI or any of that stuff. Or is not that. It's the child allowance. I agree with this. Under the new bill, families will get monthly checks for $300 for each child under the age of 6 and $250 for each child between the age of 6 and 17. If you have 2 kids, that's between $6,000 and $7,200 a year. Officially, this is a temporary program, but many people expect it to become permanent. Essentially, this is a pilot universal basic income program for families. It would be phased out at higher income levels, but that's not really that much different than a tax-supported UBI. The key here is that there's no work requirement or time limit at all. All you have to do is have kids. Yeah, I think this is the most important part. So like one of the things is that in order to receive like the earned income tax credit or the child tax credit, you have to be like working and you have to have some like sort of income in order to receive the benefit. And the result of this is that the poorest people, meaning like people who like don't really work, don't receive any benefits, which is like unbelievably fucked up, an unbelievably fucked up way to approach like the welfare system. So the fact that we're just like giving out a child like benefits to any person who has a child is pretty huge. Yeah. The people who are saying Biden's bill is not transformational and would just be a temporary band-aid on the problems of poverty and inequality need to think about the child allowance. Child poverty is still alarmingly, from what I understand, if this was made permanent, this would literally cut child poverty in half. Child poverty is still alarmingly common in America, about 14% before COVID struck, and some estimates predict that Biden's child allowance will cut that number in half. Yep, that's what I was saying, yeah. If you don't think that's a huge fucking deal, you need to reconsider both your priorities and expectations. Fucking true. Now, this is just Biden's first big bill. We may also see shifts toward other types of government activism, stronger support for labor unions, a higher minimum wage, a more vigorous program for government investment, stricter regulation, and so on. James Medlock's declarations may ultimately prove to be true. The era of big government is over. True. Based Medlock. But for now, what we're seeing is a move toward one very specific type of government, and it's just mail checks. I could not be happier, by the way, with this shift. As I wrote in an earlier post, COVID relief mostly isn't fiscal stimulus, it's disaster relief, which is really a kind of retroactive social insurance. The main purpose isn't to pump up GDP, it's to prevent a natural disaster from redistributing wealth and income in huge, arbitrary, unfair, and devastating ways. It's to make sure that if you lose your job or your income or your business due to COVID, you don't find yourself starving or out on the street or without a nest egg for retirement. In fact, it's good that COVID relief is mostly not fiscal stimulus. If it were, then Oliver Blanchard and Larry Summers would be right, and it would put our country at risk of accelerating inflation. But they are wrong. Because people will either save most of their relief checks or use them to pay debt-like obligations like bank rent, the fiscal multiplier on the spending will be low, and we won't be at risk of inflation. Hold on, let me think about that for a second. Okay, yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, yeah. So basically what Noah Smith is saying here is that, like, if people just, like, if people took all of, like, their fiscal stimulus and just went out and, like, just, like, spent it all, like, immediately, all of that spending might cause a lot of, like, hyperinflation, which would be, like, pretty harmful. However, we can see based on, like, how people have spent their previous benefits, and we can estimate that people won't just be like immediately spending all of the money they get. They'll likely be saving it or like paying off like debt, paying off like rent, that kind of thing. And so we aren't at risk for like very high inflation, which is one of the points against this bill. But mostly not fiscal stimulus doesn't mean no fiscal stimulus at all. And according to the good folks at the Hamilton Project, the modest stimulus the bill does provide will be enough to get us back to the pre-pandemic trend. This is really cool. Like, Biden's relief package is going to set us on a course of economic growth that's even better or equal to, better for a period of time, and then equal to our pre-COVID projections, which is really cool. Note how different this is from Obama's stimulus in 2009. By most estimates, the ARRA closed only a small portion of the output gap created by the Great Recession. Probably less than a 1% drop in the unemployment rate. It didn't even get us close to the pre-recession trend. So this is one very important point. A lot of people don't actually understand how remarkably more left-wing Biden was than Obama. Biden's policies so far have been so far to the left of Obama. And this is why when you see like lefties on Twitter, they'll often say shit like, they'll like snarkily say like, how is pushing Biden to the left going? Like, you were never going to push Biden to the left. And it's like, well, no, we actually have. And anybody who's like remotely politically or historically informed will be able to tell you this, that like, because of like the Bernie Sanders and the AOC, the one thing that you sort of have to understand about Biden is that Joe Biden will essentially place himself at the middle, in the direct center of wherever the Democratic Party is at the time. So like when the Democratic Party starts shifting right, then Joe Biden will shift right. When it starts shifting left, then Joe Biden will shift left. So like the leftward push of the Democratic Party by people like AOC and Bernie have made Biden way more like left wing than he otherwise like would have been, and then Obama was. You can see this in his cabinet picks, which were way better than Obama's cabinet picks. You can see this like in his COVID bill or his stimulus compared to Obama's stimulus, as Noah Smith was talking about. So yeah, this is a really important point. How did Biden manage to pass a very large and transformative welfare program without being forced to pare it down? Well, my friend Chris has a theory. Democrats really did low-key bring back welfare using the pandemic as a cover, and now will proceed to dare Republicans to take things away from the American people. That is kind of the hardball y'all have been wanting them to play for years, no? $15 minimum wage was a head fake, wasn't it? For Joe Biden, maybe. Obviously not for Bernie Sanders. But put a few things Manchin Republicans will be mad at in the bill and see which one they take the bait on is not a bad legislative strategy. That's really interesting because like the COVID relief, like like the checks, like the child benefit allowance checks, the $1,400 checks. These things are like overwhelmingly popular, and so one of the best things that Democrats could do right now is essentially just say, "Hey, we're going to make this permanent." After people in America have already been receiving it and are already benefiting from it, and say, "Hey, we're going to try and make this permanent. Are you going to decide to try and take this away from people?" And that's going to be a really hard sell for Republicans, to try and take away benefits that people are already receiving and like massively enjoying, according to like all of the polling data. Remember when everyone was talking about how Trump basically DDoSed the media? He would say and do one outrageous thing after another, and the media would barely be able to start getting outraged over each one before the next one arrived. As a result, it all sort of blended together into this mishmash of opposition that could never really focus on one thing. Well, maybe... Hold on, let me think about this for a second. Okay. Well, maybe Biden is doing the same thing with actual policy. Conservative critics of the relief bill didn't know whether to focus on the $1,400 checks, the pandemic UI, the $15 minimum wage, the child allowance, or the overall size of the bill. So they went for all of the above, and as a result, they mostly failed. The $15 minimum wage was killed, or at least delayed to another day, but the rest survived. I don't know if this is accurate, because like, would it even be beneficial? Like, if they decided to focus on any one of these things, maybe the $15 minimum wage would be the easiest to attack, but in terms of like checks and like child allowance, these things are overwhelmingly popular. So like, even if conservatives did like laser focus in on one of these elements, it feels like that would be pretty bad optics for them either way. But I don't know, I couldn't be misinterpreting the point. It's like 1:34 a.m. I'm really fucking tired. I'm probably going to turn off stream after I finish this. A few people on the right did catch on to the fact that the child allowance is a big and important expansion of the welfare state. Scott Winship, a right-wing think tank guy, mounted a one-man charge against the child. Oh, maybe he didn't mean like meant to attack for like public optics purposes. Maybe he meant like attack like within right-wing circles to try and like actual mount a institutional right-wing opposition to these things being passed. I don't know. Okay, I don't know which one of those things he's implying. And Oren Cass wrote an article about welfare extremism. Their arguments are bad, sure, but more importantly, nobody paid any attention and the child allowance sailed through. So the Blitz approach... Okay, so I think he did mean like a right-wing institutional response. So the Blitz approach works. Keep it coming. Bring back the $15 minimum wage in a new bill. Do a huge green investment push. Roll out voting rights and electoral reform. Statehood for DC. The voting rights and electoral reform, I think, are going to be a lot harder because you can't reasonably do that through budget reconciliation. But, yeah. But I don't know. I think Manchin seems to be budging on the filibuster. He said some things like he would prefer, he used the word prefer, which I think is interesting, not to get rid of the filibuster, but he does want to make it more painful to do. So that could be cool. Some of these things will get shot down, but if the relief bill is any indication, some will make it through. Okay, yeah, so basically the idea here is like you try to pass a bunch of like sweeping policies and you try to pass so much that the right wing can't like mount some sort of concentrated opposition to all of it at the same time, so that at least some elements of what we want to go through will go through. I think that's a pretty cool, I think that's a pretty good political strategy. One sort of darkly amusing sideshow to the relief bill was watching Republicans rally against the minimum wage. Every single Republican voted no on the measure, even Josh Hawley, who had flirted with support for the fight for $15. Remember just a couple months ago when top Republicans were declaring that they were now a working class party? So true. Was that actually supposed to mean anything other than stirring cultural resentment of college-educated people among the non-college college class? It's starting to look like it did not. That is a phenomenal paragraph. This is so fucking true. Like populist right-wingers will like try to like engage in like pro-working class rhetoric, but then when it actually comes down to it, they won't support any pro-working class policies. If they did, we would be seeing a lot more shit pass. In fact, even with the minimum wage provision stripped out, every single Senate Republican voted no on the relief bill. This is in spite of the fact that a hefty chunk of Republican voters, probably a majority, actually liked the bill, as reported by Mira Jagannathan of MarketWatch. And then this is, of course, just poll results about how overwhelmingly popular the relief bill is, 53% among Republicans. So even though Republicans' own voters want them to be a working class party in terms of actual economic policy instead of just cultural resentment, they keep not doing it. As David Shore says, Democrats and the media should spend a lot of time pointing out this fact. I completely agree with this, yeah. I think pointing out how this sort of pro-working class rhetoric of the Republicans doesn't match their policies that they vote on is very important. Man, this relief bill was so overwhelmingly popular, and people are going to be seeing the material results of it so intensely that I think making this a big issue in the 2022 primaries is really important. I'm convinced that if Democrats gain in the Senate in 2022 or in the House of Representatives, it's going to be entirely because of this bill and because of Republicans' opposition to it. It's funny. Republicans aren't even grifters. They just genuinely hate poor people, and their hatred for poor people outweighs their own survival instinct, which is quite extraordinary. So what's next for the Biden administration? Well, lots of people will be clamoring for the $15 minimum wage that was dropped from the relief bill, and I expect to see that debate later this year. My prediction, based on the fact that a number of centrist Dems voted against $15, is that there will ultimately be some kind of compromise where the minimum wage gets raised to $11 or $12. And everyone on both sides walks away kind of mad. I also expect some kind of push on voting rights and electoral reform this year, though I can't predict how that will turn out. I think that H.R. 1 will try to go through, it will not pass, and it will prompt a debate on filibuster reform. I think that ultimately, these are my predictions, I think that ultimately Joe Manchin won't budge on filibuster reform, but I do think that, or won't budge on getting rid of the filibuster, but he will support some sort of a reform to make the filibuster more painful to pull off, as he's sort of alluded to. But whether or not that makes it painful enough to pass H.R. 1, I don't know. Frankly, I don't really think it will, because man, if there's any amount of pain that Republicans have to go through, they're willing to do it to stop brown people from voting. That's their one motivation in life. It's pretty extraordinary. But the real action will come in the next filibuster-proof budget reconciliation bill next fiscal year. By that time, COVID will be pretty much crushed and our economy will be bouncing back quite naturally. So it won't be a relief bill. Instead, it will be an infrastructure bill. This will include the typical repair the roads type of once a decade and infrastructure push, which unfortunately is how America handles routine maintenance. But it's also going to include big climate initiatives, especially green energy and electrification. If this COVID relief bill was the quiet return of the welfare state, the Build Back Better bill will be the quiet reality of the Green New Deal. The Chamber of Commerce is behind the idea, so I'm optimistic that a big bill will get passed. That's cool. Remember that government investment has been on the decline as a percentage of GDP since the late 60s. This could be start of a turnaround. If Biden does manage to both tackle climate change and bring back the era of government investment, in addition to a basic income-like expansion of the welfare state, that will be more than enough to make his president go down in the history books as a transformative one. Yeah, it's good stuff. Pretty based shit. Yeah, this article is a massive hope pill. Honestly, the passage of this bill, I was kind of skeptical when Joe Biden won. I was like, okay, this is cool, but they don't have the Senate, so nothing's really gonna get done. Then they won the Senate, which was oh my God, just think of how important that win in the Senate was. We would have never gotten this bill if John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock did not win in the Senate. This bill would have not happened. So let's take this opportunity to look back and think of all the lefties who refused to support Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. We have that Jack guy, Jack AM. He refused to support John Ossoff. He said that people shouldn't be supporting John Ossoff. I can't remember. I think that Hassan maybe said that we shouldn't support John Ossoff. I think Kyle Kalinske was like refusing to support them. Jimmy Dore definitely. I just want to like use this opportunity as some perspective. If we followed the prescriptions of these kind of dumb fuck lefty types and didn't support or refuse to vote for Warnock and Ossoff, people would not be getting $3,600 a year in child allowance. People would not be getting extended unemployment. People would not be getting these checks. So I think it's just like a good opportunity to point out how much these people on the left actually like hate poor people. Anybody advocating against electing Warnock or Ossoff on the left actually hates poor people to an unbelievable extent. So yeah, it's just worth noting. Yeah, the Dems have been able to do a lot of really cool shit, and I think they're going to be able to do a lot of more cool shit. And it's only going to be because we didn't listen to dumb fuck pieces of shit who hate poor people, like fucking Kyle Kalinske and Jack AM. And ultimately, the reason these people can be so comfortable, like saying don't vote for Warnock and don't vote for Ossoff, is because whether or not this bill passes is not going to affect them. Because at the end of the day, these people are like affluent fucking white people who don't need these checks to survive, who don't need this child allowance to survive. So of course they can sit on their fucking high heel or their fucking high horse and be like, oh, Ossoff is so, he doesn't even support Medicare for all. Let's just not vote for him. That's like the most, like, giving that take is one of the most unimaginably white fucking things that you could have, like, that you could possibly believe. Like, Kyle Kalinske didn't even support Biden. Like, if you're, like, unironically refusing, tried to prevent all of this good shit from happening that's, like, massively helped poor people because of, like, some virtue signal about, like, and I think in Kyle Kalinske's case, it was like, oh, Biden supported the Iraq war because, so I'm not going to support him. Like, fuck you. Like, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Anybody who resisted voting for Biden, anybody who resisted voting for Warnock or Ossoff or any Democratic senator is a piece of shit who's not actually left-wing and hates poor people. Very confident saying that. You can criticize the bill. Like, it's definitely not perfect, right? Like, if I could craft an ideal bill in my head, it wouldn't be this one. It would be better, right? But in terms of, like, what's actually politically practicable, this is an incredible bill. This was an incredible bill. Should be absolutely praised. So, yeah, I guess, like, in the takeaway that I want people to come away with is, this bill was great. This could even be transformative. If some of these measures are made permanent, then this will be transformative both in how our welfare state actually works and how people think about our welfare state. And like the infrastructure thing is also going to be pretty transformative. So a lot of really good shit happening here. This is the importance of having even corporate Democrats elected over Republicans. There is a massive material difference between Republicans and moderate Democrats, and that material difference matters. And this is just a perfect example of that. So yeah, that's like one of the main takeaways here. Yeah, this is a major hope pill, or it should be a major hope pill for you. This bill is way better than I was thinking. Yeah, the bill is great. Yeah, it's really good. So just know when you see like Kyle Kalinske or Jimmy Dore get on talking about like, oh, this bill is terrible. They didn't even have a $15 minimum wage. This bill matters massively if you're poor, if you're struggling, if you're one of the many, millions of people of color in America. If you're like any sort of like marginalized group or you're struggling to pay bills, and especially if you have children, this bill is unbelievably critical to your ability to like survive in society as it currently exists. This bill is going to like help millions of people be able to like afford their fucking houses, take care of their children, etc. But the reason that like people like Kyle Kalinske and Jimmy Dore can just like get on and shit on the bill and shit on Biden and shit on the Democrats is because they're like affluent white people who aren't actually affected by the provisions. So just keep that in mind when you're listening to them, like give their dog shit takes. Anyways, it's very late. We've been streaming for a while. Thanks everyone for sticking around. She just tweeted a screenshot of you. I don't care. She's a fucking moron. Okay, what's this? Funny thing is, I've been a left. Okay. The funny thing is, like, Shu wants to like posture, about like, oh, Mouthy's a liberal and I'm a based leftist. Like, bitch, I was fucking 10 years old and reading fucking Noam Chomsky, when you were fucking a grown ass woman who is fucking talking about like how evil feminism was on your fucking YouTube. I've been a leftist for my entire fucking life. You became a leftist the second being a leftist became profitable. So shut the fuck up. So like quit this fucking cringy ass posturing bullshit. Like you're a fucking grifter, dude. Yeah. B-word moment? Oh shit. Is that gonna be interpreted as like fucking sexist? Listen, I call literally everyone a bitch, okay? I don't mean in a fucking like she's a woman, okay? Jesus Christ. I'll try to say that less. Because like honestly, for like I used to say bitch like all the time. I never even noticed like I never even knew that it was like a women geared term until like later in my life. So yeah, I've been trying to use it less, but she's like a centrist populist, just left-wing populism. Yeah, I mean, Shuonhead was literally like a center-right anti-SJW at the peak of fucking 2016 anti-SJW YouTube, being friendly with fucking Sargon and shit. And then as soon as it became like, as soon as being a lefty became like the sexy, trendy thing to be, that's the second she fucking jumped on the lefty bandwagon. She's either very dumb, and so her beliefs are just informed by whatever trend is currently like catching on, or she's a grifter. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, I don't really put any value on her opinion. Like, oh man, I just hate this posturing shit, dude. Like, oh man, it's so frustrating when people because I do shit on the left a lot, and so like people think I'm a liberal or something, but it's frustrating when people come at me, like people who've been a leftist for like a year, people who became leftists the second it became profitable and trendy to be a leftist. It's really frustrating for me when people like come at me and say like, you're a fucking liberal, I'm a real leftist, and you're just a liberal. Like, dude, fuck off with your posturing, okay? I've been a leftist for my entire life, and I'm more of a leftist than you are, okay? You're a leftist because it's currently trendy, and as soon as, like, some other political ideology becomes trendy, you're gonna hop on that fucking bandwagon. So, like, don't fucking posturate me, okay? Would you consider reacting to a Hodge Twins or Donut? Yeah, I mean, if you send me... You can send me, I have I'll link my Discord again. I have a channel in my Discord called like Content Suggestions. I think if you have any videos that you think would be cool for me to react to, then go for it. Just send them in there and ping me. Also Steven Crowder, but he's low-hanging. I would love to debate Steven Crowder. I've reacted to multiple of his videos, so. Also, you should talk with her in a debate or something for real. Yeah, I would talk to Shoe on Head. The problem is I couldn't be as aggressive, because I know she wouldn't be aggressive if we talked on voice chat. I know she would be like very sort of meek or like non-aggressive with me, because that's just kind of how Shoe on Head is. And so, like, I couldn't be nearly as, like, aggressive as I would like to be, or else I would just come off like a fucking lunatic. But I would still like to talk to her nonetheless. Yeah, she's very passive. Yeah, most people are, yeah. Like, that was one of the issues that I was having with Lexi, was when we talked on voice chat. I was like trying to be like man, I came into that hoping that it would be like kind of blood sportsy, and I was like prepared to like yell and shit, but she was acting like so like tepid and friendly that I kind of had to like reciprocate that, because if I didn't, if I came in and she's being incredibly tepid and friendly and I'm just fucking screaming at her and like saying that she's weaseling out of her points, but she kind of was, then I come off like a fucking lunatic. So yeah, I try to like strike that balance. What? What's the joke? I just said sigh. I don't know why she does this. She can say like, man, like, I understand if she wants to say like, oh, I'm just joking. Like, that's fair. You could joke about whatever you want to. But my problem is, she seems to like Pepe post so incredibly like frequently, where she'll be like, oh, look at how base Tucker Carlson is, and she's like unironically like a stan of like Rising with that fucking like fascist Sagard dude, and like, I don't know, like, it's hard to know when she's Pepe posting. So like when she like makes a joke about like women shouldn't be in the workforce or whatever, like, especially when it's paired with some pseudo leftist justification about like wage slavery is bad, like I genuinely can't tell when she's joking, like, and if she's not going to make it clear when she's joking and when she's not joking, then that's on her if people like misinterpret her, just given like the broader context of like the way she engages online. Weird how Vosh says he hates Pepe posting unless it's you. I don't want to burn my bridge with Vosh. Okay, at risk of burning my bridge with Vosh, one of the things that like really frustrates me about Vosh is it seems like he applies like double standards. Like he'll call out Pepe posting a lot and then like not really call it out when Shoenhead does it. He'll call out like a lot of like bad faith behavior and then like not call it out when it seems like it's like somebody's friends with. I don't know. Okay, to be fair, I don't watch much of Vosh's content. Maybe he does call out Shu. Like I don't know. I don't know. I'm not trying to like dig at Vosh though. I like Vosh. Okay. It's just something that like kind of frustrates me. Oh yeah. Okay. One of the things that triggered the fuck out of me was like when Vosh was, and I DM'd Vosh about this, like saying how I like thought that he was like trying to explain myself. Like I think I said like I know that I can understand why you think I'm like being aggressive, but here's like my thought process, and so, like, when Shu was doing the thing where she was, like, unironically Pepe posting about how based a literal far-right child-raping doomsday cult was, the Branch Davidians or whatever, when she was, like, memeing about that, and I called it out, and someone brought that up to Vosh, she was like, Vosh was just like, I think that Shu had probably said some dumb shit, and then people were taking it, like, way too seriously. And it seems like that's the kind of like both sides thing Vosh tries to do a lot of the time, where it's like, of course I'm going to take it seriously. Like, this is a big issue that you yourself acknowledge. Like, this is unironically the Nazbal vortex that Vosh talks about, where like, yeah, if you're like unironically like supporting like far right fucking terrorist groups because they like owned the neolibs or whatever, like yeah, I think that's really problematic and that shouldn't be called out. Like that should be called out. Like I don't think it's fair to say I'm like taking it too seriously or whatever. Like this is the exact issue Vosh himself points out. Vosh says she's stupid pretty often. Yeah, that's fair. Vosh is one of the biggest social content creators, but Aiden is the best. Wow. You're almost going to get... I'm tempted to ban you for that one. Taking sides against me in my own chat. Been sitting, yeah, I got to keep those bridges unburned for money. I don't want to accuse Vosh of, like, grifting that hard. I think Vosh cares a lot about... I think Vosh genuinely cares a lot about, like, building a movement. And so I think Vosh is hesitant in a way that I'm not to, like, burn bridges with somebody who he thinks has a large audience and who he thinks he could, like... bring over if he doesn't burn the bridge. I think that motivates Vosh a lot. I don't think it's just like money. I think if we are being charitable, it might just be that he has a hard time calling out people he sees as friends. Yeah, I think that's another like charitable interpretation. He definitely does this with Shun Demon Mama. Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to like shit on Vosh. I think Vosh is generally pretty good. I think Vosh didn't know enough about Waco to make a statement, TBH, yeah. Yeah, that's true, Meme Guider. I don't think Vosh is, like, a grifter. I definitely don't think Vosh is a grifter. Man. Alright, I'm gonna end stream in a minute. We're at 2 a.m. Okay, guys. Had a fun stream. Went over a lot of cool stuff. Thanks for sticking around. I love all of you. Have a good night and take care. Also, one last obligatory show. If you like what I do and you want to support me or you want to just have access to more content that I make, like about half the content that I make at this point is just like essays on Patreon, go to patreon.com/mouthyinfidel. I write like somewhat frequent essays about like the same topics I make videos about. So for just like $5 a month, you know, just like the cost of fucking one coffee a month or whatever, you can have access to my shit. You can support me. So yeah, check that out if you're interested at all, if you can afford it. Yeah, good night. Take care.